Will the Dolphins beat the Bills on Sunday? Can the Dolphins beat the Bills on Sunday? Did we even want them to? We'll find out. Plus that and a whole bunch more next.
Turner Yell makes the stop in the secondary for Denver. 1st and 10. The fake. Good. Block in there and down it goes. Caught at the 30. This is the dynamic Hill. He's in for 6. Tyreek Hill. Touchdown.
Take into your hands a plan, your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour, take a cold shower, scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder, and f*** all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off, it's these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve it now. It's only worth it if you work for it.
What were you noticing in the offense and tools first game back, just in terms of the orchestration of everything?
Felt good, man. Felt good to have one back. Felt good to be able to roll the way we did. But again, I think we have the ball with 8 minutes left. That's we can't end that drive in a punt. And I think there's a lot of guys, a lot of spots in that place where we all could have stepped up a little bit better. So felt good to get in the end zone. Felt good to have those explosive plays. But good wasn't good enough.
Good wasn't good enough. Sounds like exactly what I always say. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm 2 minutes after. I made it 2 minutes after. It's still the morning in half the rest of the country. So good morning to y'all. Grab a cup of coffee. It's time for me to talk. We got so much to get into today. We got the Bills coming up, aka the Billikens, aka they need all kinds of luck. And it hasn't been on their side because, we know they can't win a Super Bowl. So that's all beside the point. That's all in the past. What we got coming up this week is a pretty decent football team at 6-2, and we are not so good. But good afternoon, everybody. I appreciate y'all coming to listen to me today. Manolo Rivera, how you doing? Carla, I know you're a cynic, Carla. Raphael, how you doing? Sal, Chef Jew. Sal's a Buffalo fan, by the way. Converge. Mudbone, how's it going? Cosa Nostra. Joe Wrist, how you guys doing today? I'm going to get right into it. Hit the poll, hit the like button before you hit the poll. The poll's question for today is, would beating Buffalo make you positive on the rest of the season? Yes, no, or you've been out since Buffalo in week 2. Hit the poll up, hit the like button, get your answers in, because I'd like to know. You know why I'd like to know? Because I care about your opinion. I got called a Mike McDaniel apologist today. Do y'all think I'm a Mike McDaniel apologist? By the way, today's episode, Billiken Week. That's what they are known by me as, the Billikens, from henceforward. And the title of the show, it's all fun until someone wins. Is this fan base afraid of winning? Is the coaching staff, Carla, and the owner afraid of winning? Have I always asked the question, is this team afraid of success? Well, it seems they might be. I just don't know if Alec Ingold is. He must not have got the memo either. Don't feel bad, Alec. I didn't get the memo either. So I got called a Mike McDaniel apologist today without even being able to, without being able to have my words heard. And that's all fine. But today's episode is, of course, Wednesday, and I've got the energy, and we've got the video from yesterday. It is Coach Whisper Wednesday. We are going to decipher for you exactly what I believe Mike McDaniel is saying to you all when he speaks. I do this so that you don't have to. Now, for y'all that have been following me a long time, you know that I don't, I've said it a million times that there's a difference between what I expect and what I predict. And so what I've tried to do is, in order to provide balance to my audience without being fake, and in order to maintain my authenticity, because if I sat here and told you how I felt about everything and what I thought was actually going to happen, I've tried that before, and y'all saw where that got me. Not that I care, but it's a whole lot of energy that I don't need to have to spend combating a whole lot of people and a whole lot of personal attacks. So I said, okay, in order for me to find balance, in order for me to present content to people that from all facets of our fan base, the ones that hate Tua, the ones that love Tua, all of it, I have to find a way to do that without losing my authenticity, because I've never, ever, ever been afraid to tell you all that I don't believe in Tua. I've never been afraid to tell you all that. I've never been afraid to tell you all I don't believe in any given player on the team, or the team as a whole, or the coach. I've never been afraid to tell y'all any of that. But what I believe and what I expect to happen are two different things. But when I speak on what I expect to happen, and I keep it strictly about objectively what I expect as a fan, as a season ticket holder, as a football fan, and as a person, and as a man, and as a human being, when I tell you the things that I expect, I do that because it allows me to appeal to others that might not be appealed to while maintaining my authenticity. Now, if you think I'm not being authentic, I'm sorry. That's your own opinion. But what I will not accept is disrespect. I don't need nobody. I've said this 1,000 times. If you think that I'm trying too hard, I don't need you that bad. Trust me. I'm just trying to be cool. But I am not going to tolerate disrespect. I may not be able to do anything about it because I'm an old, frail man. If that makes you feel puffy chest, fine. If that helps you maintain your honor, fine. I've already put down in this life. I've already earned my honor. I don't need it from you. I ain't here to play no games. I ain't here to do nothing but give my opinion for those that want to hear it. And gather others' opinion so I could help formulate mine. Because I respect other people's opinion, including yours. You can beat me down. You can physically harm me. You can even unalive me. But you ain't going to disrespect me. And if that person or people cannot handle not disrespecting me, then I'll just simply walk away and I'll never speak your name again to anybody for any reason whatsoever. That's how I roll. It's called being an adult. There are those in this fan base that are offended by the fact that I speak on what I expect and not what I think is going to happen. That makes me look like I'm trying too hard. For what? I don't know. So I'm done doing that. I mean, really, I started a poll today. I can get y'all's opinion. I don't need anybody else's. Carla, and this isn't for you, Carla. This is for you, Carla, not what I was saying a minute ago. But Carla opened up the chat by asking the question, cannot anyone see that Ross and McDaniel are purposely losing games to get draft capital? Ross finally has a coach that will tank or whatever it takes to get better draft picks, unlike Flo. Hey, whatever. That's a fair opinion. Well, I can only say, Carla, that today's content's not going to be for you. That's all I can say. Not trying to insult you, not trying to insult anybody that agrees with Carla. But today's show is not for you. I am sick and tired of people disrespecting me by trying to silence me to their advantage. It's weak. And I'm not going to be a part of it anymore. It's no big deal. It really ain't. It really ain't no big deal. Now, that person in particular, Joe, was a Buffalo fan that called me a Mike McDaniel apologist. And look, the person's entitled to their opinion. I never got a chance to tell them that before I got spanked on my little butt for being disrespectful when I was disrespected first. I never even got a chance to tell the person that their opinion was fine and explain to them why I disagreed that I was a Mike McDaniel apologist. But you know what? Since I am an adult, when somebody goes to the lengths of disrespecting me in order to call me a Mike McDaniel apologist, I do have I am adult enough to look inward and say, okay, is there something kind of vibe I'm giving off that makes people think I'm a Mike McDaniel apologist? I really had to search hard. Now, I know for my own self that the person just didn't hear clearly what I said when I prefaced my statement. But that's okay. That happens. But I still had to say, okay, wait a minute. This guy went pretty hard at me for being a Mike McDaniel apologist right out the gate. And I'm thinking, okay, well, when somebody does that, I don't immediately think they're some evil person. I just think, okay, Is there a reason they think that? So I turn inward. Is there some kind of vibe I'm giving off that makes people think I'm a Mike McDaniel apologist? So I think I couldn't figure it out because this show in StreamYard was created long before this person called me a Mike McDaniel apologist. And you all know I ain't lying because you got the notifications. You know why? Because you hit the like button, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit the notification bell. That's how you knew when I created the show with the show title, Coach Whisper Wednesday. Now, I wonder why I titled the show El Capitan. Thank you for joining me. You do I am going to have to finish this monologue, but I do want to get an answer from you as to why it is your opinion that I might have titled the show Coach Whisper Wednesday.
Why would you do Coper Wednesday?
No. Why would I title the show Coach Whisper Wednesday?
Whew. Because it's the coach interview day?
Yeah, like what would give you the impression that I would do that, though?
I don't know.
Maybe that I've done
Spoke
it for
to
the
Coach?
last 4 weeks.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Because, I mean, this is the day in which you go through Coach. I get it, Culler, because you break it down and actually decipher the coach speak with all that you do. So you're the coach whisperer. Wow, you are the coach whisperer.
Right. So I decided to as a person who's still trying to make a show here, even though I'm authentic, I'm still trying to make a show here, right? That's interesting to people. So I figured I would take on the moniker and make the show title Coach Whisper Wednesday.
Yeah, lean in.
Now, in all the time you've heard me whispering to you all for the coach, right? At what point did you detect that I may be a Mike McDaniel apologist?
Oh, I don't know, Culler. I wouldn't even say you are. I wouldn't say you're a Mike McDaniel apologist, Culler.
Well, we're going to do it today, too. So we're going to get to find out just how much I apologize for the man.
Well, I would say this, Culler. I think what you're conflating as being an apologist, the reality is that you're taking in all account. Young guy, I mean, he's young. And the things in which Dolphin fans are coming to get him for, ultimately resulting in him being fired, will only put us on this same repetitive first-time coach fire year 3 type of cycle that you're trying to avoid.
Well, currently, it's actually not quite that deep yet for me. But currently, it's at least at the point. This is the part where I tried to say before I got scolded for being disrespectful and silenced in the kindergarten class today.
Oh, you did? Someone silenced Culler?
Yeah. So anyway, as I was trying to explain, okay, if we are to be able to pin down Mike McDaniel fairly, for those that do want Mike McDaniel fired, okay, because this is the part where personal me and what I think is going to happen might be different than what I expect. Okay. And so when our good friend Lewis comes up and talks about what is it? The player, he's in agreement with me about the players executing and all that.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll and I agree with that. But at the same time, him and I have also agreed, look, McDaniel has the ability to go into Stephen Ross's office, right? And he can go to Stephen Ross and show him all kinds of tape. Forgive me, there's a dump truck driving by if it happens to be coming through the mic. He can show him all kinds of tape.
What's coming through the mic?
I was concerned maybe this dump truck might be coming through the mic.
No, I didn't hear it.
So anyway, He can show him all kinds of tape of, look at this guy missing his block. Look at that guy not getting open. Look at this guy not hitting this receiver that could have been a touchdown instead of an 11-yard gain. You know what I mean? He can show him all that footage and wow him with all kinds of football jargon and earn himself another chance. Okay.
Doing no different than the self-proclaimed experts of film breaking down all over the
Correct.
platforms. I got
Correct.
you.
Correct. And Lewis and I have both acknowledged that that's the case. You know what I mean? So whether we believe that Mike McDaniel has problems or not calling plays, as long as the players continue to fail to execute, which is the reason we're losing, Mike McDaniel can sit there and fix his mistakes. It buys him more and more time to say, yeah, man, I shouldn't have called a passing play like that on 2nd and 12 when I'm trying to burn the clock out. He can learn from those mistakes. And by me saying that, a third party who I've only met twice now has came at me pretty hard calling me a Mike McDaniel apologist. Because what I said was, in order to pin McDaniel down, in order to have the goods on him, which is what you all want, right? I'm not trying to apologize for McDaniel. I want him to be held accountable too. But in order to do that, we have to be sure that player execution can't still elevate him, because it's a football game first. He cannot go out there. He cannot go out there with the headset on, okay, and run the ball himself.
So here's the thing. You're not wrong, right? And I want to point out how you're not wrong by saying, when he's the play caller and designer and ultimately the last person in charge of the offense at all times, if you go back and see through the film that there is guys open, there is lanes to hit them, and the players aren't executing, whether it's the quarterback, whether
I've done that work.
It's not enough time in the pocket,
right?
Because of the
I've done
offensive
that.
line.
Pause for a sec. I've done that work, which gives me
Color.
the right to talk about expectation, even if it makes it look to somebody like I'm being inauthentic. I'm actually being authentic.
I got you. So, and then also in the fact that wide receivers giving up on routes, that in the second level of the route, because the protection was there, they could have found themselves open and getting the ball. And we've seen all this. We know it's true. We know that Mike McDaniel, as far as scheme, hasn't been the problem in those things. Execution has been. Now
are there times when
Color, hold on,
executed perfectly and it's just a bad called play at the time? Yeah, sure.
Clock managed. Well, here's the thing, right? That's judging the offensive coordinator, Mike McDaniel, not the head coach, Mike
Right.
McDaniel.
And are there times the defense just beats us? Yeah, absolutely. That's the NFL.
That I'm not going to hang over his head. Sometimes you scheme up everything and they just won.
And I'm not going to hang it over the players' heads either, other than, hey, you got to be better. You know what I mean?
Or, what can you
in other words, on some plays, it just might not be about execution on some plays. I'll grant
or
it. Or
anybody's fault. I mean? The play happened. It just didn't happen the way you hoped. That's all. The defense didn't bite. A superstar on their friggin' thing got out of position because he read a play and took a chance and blew it up.
Right,
right.
I've also
Jalen Ramsey comes out from the friggin' from the wide corner spot, and right before the ball snap, he's blitzing in the friggin' B gap. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't scheme that.
Right. And I've also made it very clear that I include Mike McDaniel in my execution talk. So yes, if he's calling the terrible plays at the terrible time, yeah, his execution needs to be better. It's still a matter of the E word. And if they're not executing, they're choosing not to.
Executioner. Oh. I guess not.
So what Carla's
So-
implying is McDaniel is purposely not executing.
No, I mean, listen, that's conspiracy talk, and
Well, she's not
I'm here for
implying
it.
it. She's not implying it. She outright said it. You know what I mean?
Well,
And I don't blame her for feeling that way.
I'd say this, Color. I could see the malpractice in having the backup quarterbacks try to run the same system that it took to an entire offseason to get under pack that's tailor made for him. That's
Mhm.
something I put at his feet. And
Look, Carla saying that just tells me I got to do a better job explaining why we're not tanking. You know what I mean?
I know me and Nene too. Nene and I love good conspiracy. It's funny, right? Every now and again on my on Twitter or X, they'll have a space and it'll be like a conspiracy theory space. And I'll go in there and sure as shit, there's Nene in that bitch too, boy. Color, you got a super chat.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dad Dean. Appreciate you as always. This is it. And I'm assuming that's the inflection he wanted. This is it. Win Bills game. And what does he say? And I
Adavani?
have
Adamant. I think it's supposed to be adamant.
have a sliver of hope for this season, but still major changes need to be made in 2025. Yeah, of course. And I've always that's another point that our great friend Lewis has made is that, you know what I mean? You know, it don't matter what happens at the end of this season. This all has to change. I don't disagree with him at all.
So,
But
okay.
I still have an expectation. There are still a large portion of our fan base that expects to continue to try to win. And I have to explain to those people how it's possible. If that makes me look like I'm Mr. If I'm
You're Dolphineer, you're
whatever,
Dolphin sexual.
you know what I mean? I owe it to my audience. I've promised them that the whole way, bro. This isn't the off season. You get that color in the off season.
Yeah, you get infuriated, hateful Color in the off season.
Tua still performed well enough to improve on that to continue
And you
to put together a bunch of wins.
You might get hateful Color.
Wait a minute. Did he miss a bunch of stuff that could have lit up the Cardinals? Absolutely. And that's what I'm trying to say. However, he still did enough to say, going forward, if it even improves a moniker, we only needed 2 more points. That's all we needed. One mistake. We needed, as I illustrated yesterday, 1 more yard would have done it for us. Called at the right down in distance.
So,
Alec Engel just said what I said, El Capitan. I started the show with it. When you got the ball with less than that much time left, you need to end the game. He was wrong. He said 8 minutes. We had 6 minutes left. You can't give it. I mean, you're relinquishing control of the game when you punt there. He just said the same thing. That's a player on the team. Why are people like, oh, what Color is saying is so casual?
Well, I'm sure that's something he heard in film breakdown that came out of Mike McDaniel's mouth, too.
Well, that's Mike McDaniel's fault, though. That's where I'm not.
I know, but I'm sure it's Mike McDaniel's that told them in the meeting room watching the film, because he's a guy that continuously shoulders the blame that is fitting for him, and
the only thing I'll fault Tua there for is if there's a possibility that he needed to change that play to a run and he didn't. That's up to Mike McDaniel to decide. I'm not in the film room when they're discussing those things. I can only say, from what it looked like to me, McDaniel called a ridiculously low probability pass play on 2nd and 12 when we needed to burn the clock out.
Color, you need to go and check on the YouTube stream.
I don't know how this ain't the news of the NFL, bro. Dude, a nugget like this, a coach calling a low prob pass play on in that situation, that would be ran around the news cycle in yesteryear for the entire week. Everybody in the NFL would be picking on that.
Check on the YouTube thing. I think somebody timed out Cap for Life either accidentally or
All right.
not.
Who am I looking for?
Cap for Life.
Oh,
He's
Cap for
timed
Life?
out. Yeah, he's timed
Oh,
out
maybe
somehow.
maybe we should leave him there for a minute. So he knows what it's like.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding. Just kidding. I'll pull him off. Let me see. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. But it's like I can't believe how understated that's gone, dude. As far as
CC, El Cap, the Dolphins end zone. What do you mean? I was in the end zone. Would you see me, CC?
he might have. You were
I
in
don't know.
you were in the lower section, right?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like
you
eighth
could have
row
got
up.
you could be on during a extra point or a kick or something or a goal
Oh
line
shit!
play.
They're gonna have a video. They're gonna have video of me drunk on camera.
Yeah,
I was pretty hammered.
he's wearing a tank top. He's really easy to pick out. So
Oh, you're the Dolphins end zone on Twitter. Got you, CC. What up, dog?
no, okay. We should look though at the tape. Maybe we can.
Or am I on Twitter in the end zone? Crazy.
Let's see. I'm trying to figure out where the heck to go to. I'm just lost right at the moment. You derailed me, Capitan.
We can hear you. We can hear everything, Pete. Everybody
Let's
can
see
hear.
who's on the block list. A whole bunch of like spammers. Michael Sanders. I don't know who that is. So if he comes rolling around, we gotta
Just unblock him.
There's
He comes back around and needs reblocking.
He might have said something. He might have said something really.
Yeah, he might have said some of the other shit we don't get down with. Right?
And then there's Pervert Pete. He's still on the block list. Little Wanker. Yeah, see all.
Remember we had those people that were saying like, geez, dude, they were just
Ding Dong Sports. Yeah, you're on the block list. Ding Dong. Sorry.
Yeah.
I see what happened. Cap for Life must have timed out Grumpy Finn because Ramon Sandoval is on the block list.
Oh, well,
all right, you're good to go, Grumpy. Now Grumpy's really going to be grumpy. Oh my God.
Well, listen, don't make me take away. Don't make me take away some friggin' wrenches around here. I'll reset the wrench right now. Ain't nobody getting. Cap saying he didn't block nobody. Yeah, Pervert Pete. We think that's Pete's burner. We don't know for sure, but
no, that was somebody trying to give Pete a bad name.
Yeah, I know. It was somebody trolling on Pete. Might be Michael K's one of them in the account. So, in case you guys haven't picked up listening to Culler going weekdays,
I am by far not a Mike McDaniel apologist. I can tell you that.
It's not that, but Culler in the off season is not the same in season. The only time you're going to get the angry fire everybody is right after the loss and maybe on a Monday. You know what I'm saying? After that, come Tuesday, Culler's turning it around. He wants to win. So
look at Cap. Don't take my wrench. It's all I got. Yeah, I know. I know. I would feel bad.
So, but look, when you think that he's all right, so let me get to this apologist stuff, right?
Define apologist.
By
the way, this was a Buffalo fan, just so you know.
So as an apologist, right? I'm not. When we're judging him, it's hard because we're judging him not just on the scheme, execution, offensively, but we gotta disassociate that from the fact that this man is the head coach too. So we got to think of timeouts, clock management, challenges,
game plan on a given drive, in a
offensively
game
and defensively, and special teams.
Let me sum that up. Situational game planning.
Yes, all this stuff. And now here's the thing, right? Are we seeing a regression of Mike McDaniel in year 3, or are we just seeing the third year slump we've come to see? I know what we typically get, right? We typically get the same thing.
Now,
Year
see,
one, it's a pop because it's new. We're all infatuated. We got the new
Uh,
boo. We love the new boo.
we've had this
It's better
problem,
than
dude.
the
It's been the
old
same,
boo.
dude. I'm telling you, what I'm saying to you is, it's always been a pattern with his play calling,
Absolutely.
situationally. And number two, if I were to go to all of the games that, not just the ones we've lost recently, because we've lost to bad teams recently, and that's because the bad teams happen to have checkmated us in the same situation that the good teams have, which is the same exact situation we were in on Sunday. I can give you right off the top of my head 3 games that happened to us in. All of them in which we had command of the game and handed that control back to the other team. Those other teams,
Yes.
those other teams, 11 times last year couldn't take advantage of that.
Well, that's how you give them the momentum. And that's football.
Right. But the 6 teams that beat us, I would venture to say 4 of them beat us that way.
Well,
Now,
okay,
it
so
could be more. I'm just being,
I think four. I
I'm
think
just
four is a
off the
safe
top of
number,
my
Culler.
head.
I
You know
think
what
it's
I
a
mean?
safe number. So, here's the thing, right? I just don't want to fire him. Even if you don't win another game all year,
Call me an
because
apologist. I tend to not want to either, bro.
I mean, you know why though? Because if we fire him, it's only one of two things. One, it's a shill. It's a lame duck.
Again,
It's just going to be a guy that comes in
and it,
and or it's like an
well,
elevated guy, like
yeah,
they make
yeah,
Frank
for
Smith
me,
the head
right?
coach or
And he
something.
would have to go through the last 3 years of what Mike McDaniel went through. What I'm
Person.
talking about
Well, hold on,
is
Cole,
so,
let me land.
bro.
That person ultimately becomes responsible for everything Mike McDaniel didn't do, or it's the other thing. It's a complete pivot in every way to a complete different ideology, in which case the team is completely redone.
Well,
And both scenarios are exhausting to me as a Dolphins fan.
well, the thing of it is, bro, what the stuff I'm talking about for Mike McDaniel, this is probably why it sounds like I'm an apologist. Because the stuff I'm talking about is so easy to fix. It's one thing that's been killing us. He just hasn't fixed it in 3 years. Now, I don't know. It seems to me that, look, if again, this is where it comes down to, it's all fun and games. It's all fun till someone wins. Because what happens for you, Cap, if we win Sunday?
Honestly,
And for those that think I'm stupid for even asking the question, I know they're out there. First of all, this conversation ain't for you. And secondly, uh I'm not talking about respectable loss. There ain't none of those right now. You don't get that unless you're 5-2.
yeah.
I'm talking about win. We beat Buffalo. We exercise that demon.
So now there's a couple
Well,
context.
really quick, so I can frame the question right for you. Do you see a difference between getting our shit right against Buffalo or getting our shit right against Carolina? Do you
There's
see
a
a
massive
difference?
there's a massive difference.
Okay. Cook, bro.
Now, I mean that's a massive difference. Um, so if the Dolphins beat Buffalo, but it's a game in which Josh Allen is giving the ball away with interceptions and errant throws, they just never get off the bus, for lack of a better term. The Bills completely take the Dolphins lightly and just shoot themselves in the foot with penalties and turnovers the entire game, and the Dolphins beat them. I'm not going to feel so good about that, right? But if you're saying I get the Miami Dolphins best and they against the Bills best and we outmatch them,
Right,
and
but
it's
there's
evident.
always going to be a mistake made by both teams, and everybody's going to be
Sure,
ready
I
to
got
hang
that, but
it
I'm
on.
not gonna.
Oh, that's why we
Again,
beat
that's
them.
why I said multiple turnovers, multiple
Well, wouldn't that
penalties
make them an inferior team?
on that day. Yes,
And,
but
wait a
Culler,
minute. The reason I asked that is because when we do that and lose, don't we call ourselves inferior to other teams? Isn't this why we don't believe in our chances?
But Culler, I'm not. This isn't in a 1 week sample size. I've been watching this team be the most penalized team all year.
I understand,
So,
but it's not as if. And I was gonna get to some of this on the tail of the tape, which I like to run through a little bit on Wednesdays. But Bills' last 5. A win against Seattle, a win against Tennessee, a win against the Jets, a loss to Houston, a loss to Baltimore.
okay, yeah, but
what would we say about ourselves last year if that was us?
Culler, I expected that team to do what they were doing against everybody. That's why we did get pissed.
But I don't want this point to be lost. What would be said about our team last year if that was our schedule results?
Failure.
They would say Seattle, Tennessee, the Jets, those are trash teams. Matter of fact, when I talk about how good our defense is, which I will also get to again today, I get told, well, they only played against Seattle and Tennessee of the world. Well, that's all Buffalo's beat. Besides us.
Well, again, a victory in Buffalo that won't make me feel good.
Did they beat Buffalo or did they beat Tennessee and all them teams with their backup quarterback?
I don't really care, honestly. That doesn't affect me. I don't like to measure what I'm saying of the Dolphins to what I should be saying about the Bills.
Go back to what we did against the last team we played with Tua in. There is all kinds of meat left on the bone, and I am going to be highly critical of Tua for that in future conversations this week leading up to the game. But could we have won last week despite that? Did Tua play well enough besides the one mistake, which arguably is the mistake that cost us the game? Did Tua play well enough for us to win that game?
Measuring to how we've been playing,
or to not be the reason we lose.
Measuring to how we've been playing on offense, yes. Measuring to what I expect out of this offense, no.
Right, correct, agreed. But the reason I also can say that is because even with the safety, we still had a lead with the ball in our hands, with supposedly enough offensive firepower to control that ball and the clock, and we did not. That has to do with Tua in some way, maybe, but I can pinpoint it right to one play call on 2nd and 12 that if we would have just got 1 yard, could have cost us the entire game. And I illustrated it yesterday. But
I got you.
My point is, even with Tua's mistake, yeah, because Arizona is a bad team. That's right.
Better than the Dolphins.
Right. Well, of course.
They won.
Right.
They're the better team. Say what you will, but they were better than us on Sunday.
Right.
So but hold on, Culler. I want to get back to your original question.
Well, real quick, what I'm saying is, given who it is Buffalo has beat in the last 5 games, if they have some kind of collapse like you're talking about and we take advantage of it, that's what we're supposed to do. That just proves that they're an inferior team just like we are. Good teams don't do that shit you illustrate.
They beat us. That's why. They're not inferior. We are okay. They can be inferior, but we are more inferior.
No,
How
I'm
about that?
saying if we beat them this week, and it's because they collapse like you illustrated.
So I
That's
want to
still
get to
them
that.
being inferior.
Yeah, on a single day. If they come back and beat,
Well,
say they play the
okay,
Lions or
okay, right. You're correct.
the
You're
Baltimore
correct.
Ravens next week and beat
You're
them.
correct.
Listen, any given
Wait a
Sunday,
minute. Wait a
too,
minute. Wait a
Culler.
minute. You're correct. They would have a chance to prove that that was a fluke, just like we would.
Well, again, the Dolphins, even if they rattle off 3 wins, still aren't reeling me back in.
That's true. That's true. But what I'm saying is, if Buffalo were to make the type of mistakes you illustrated, they are not rolled. They have 4 games stretch with cross-country travel, crisscrossing, okay? That includes the Chiefs, the Niners, the Rams, and Detroit, all in a row. And then they end with 3 division games, 2 of which are against the Patriots. So
Well,
what I'm
luckily
saying
for
is,
them,
what I'm saying is,
they're in one of the worst
what
divisions in
what
football
I'm
right now,
saying
and they
is,
could lose all 3 of those
hold
games
on,
and
hold on.
win.
Hold on. Based on what our expectations for the way we should have started our season, okay? All I'm saying is that's if it is a possibility, however improbable, that Buffalo finishes the season 2-5. And what I'm asking you is whether you believe that's possible or not, or probable. If that were to happen, how would that be different than them starting the season 2-5? If, let's say, we were to accomplish our goals of, the
I got
very
you. The
improbable
inverse. I got it.
8-2
I
run.
get
You
it.
know what I mean?
I get it. You know how it doesn't matter? Because if they're holding sole possession of the East, I don't give a fuck. Right now, they hold sole possession. They could
I
lose 3 and
understand all
win
that,
3
bro.
against the
I
bad teams
understand
and
all
end up
that.
with 10 wins. If they
I
still win the
understand all that,
East,
bro. We were 91% last year to win the division before we collapsed.
yep, but we collapsed, didn't we? And
I
guess who
know.
keeps winning the division? They do.
Okay, fair enough.
So they've
I'm
got
just saying, I'm just
history
saying,
on their side.
I'm just
They've
saying.
afforded
Okay, but there's a reason that
themselves.
they've done all that, and that's because they've played, because they don't sit here and think, oh, we already got this.
Yeah.
So I ain't going to let them think that way. They better be ready to play Sunday. And they better be ready to play the next 4 games after that, because they got the best of the league in a 4-game stretch, crisscrossing the nation. You're right. If they come out of that, hey, hats off.
Well, Red, White, and Bills saying the Niners and Chief games are both home games, and they're both in a bye between them.
Right. And then you got to cross the country to go to LA and then come back to go to Detroit.
Yeah. So again, if they lost all 4 of those games, meanwhile, the Jets and the Dolphins win for those 4 weeks, they still are in sole possession of the number 1 seed in the division and could still say, we'll just rattle off these cupcakes
Okay, I
from
got
here
it.
on out.
I got it.
That's the reason I
got
can't.
it. I got it. But if they're 2-5 at the end in their last 7 games, that would put them at 10-7, just like us if we went 8-2.
So, all right, Dolphins are 10-7. Bills are 10-7.
And with
Bills win the East
with a split series.
Split series. Bills win the East. Who knows? Dolphins don't even.
Well, you know what? You know why I suspect we may hold the tiebreaker in that case? Because in order for them to go 2-5, like I suggest, they would have
lose to the Jets.
They would have to lose one of those division games, and so that may be our one thread of a back door, which is only predicated upon us completing our goals. So, as you suggest, it don't freaking matter what the Bills do. What
Well-
matters is whether we take advantage of any possible collapse they have this weekend and that we continue to win our ball games. It don't matter what they do. None of that matters if we don't win our ball games.
And if we lose this Sunday, none of it will matter.
Then
No
it's
matter.
over. It
There will
is
be no
literally
amount.
over.
There
It
will
is
be no
literally
amount
over. It's
of.
almost mathematically over at that point.
That's right. There'll be no amount of analytics you can put together with the Haley
I'm
Bob
willing to say
comet
that.
coming by and the tides and the moon's schedule and astronomy and reading the stars.
And
None
I'm
of that
willing
can
to say
save
that,
us.
Cap. And I'm willing to say that. What I'm not willing to do is destroy the hope of those that want to be excited for this football game coming up, dude, and the potential of winning it and what we could do afterwards. I am not here to destroy those people's hope.
Well, I'll tell you this, Color. Those Dolphin fans that you're talking to on that
Call
are
me a
not on
nice
the
guy.
internet.
Call me a nice
They're
guy.
not on the internet. They're not on
Call
the
me a
internet.
nice guy. Don't be my friend because I'm too nice a guy. Whatever you want to call me. I don't
think
want to
anyone's
destroy
doing
those
that.
people's hope.
I would say that those Dolphin fans aren't on the internet. The ones that are on the internet are the hateful ones.
Well, I've done the polls, bro, and there's a lot of them in our audience, bro. Actually, the majority.
That's crazy. Good for them. God bless them. Well, okay.
I
So
run polls around here every day. Speaking of, hit the like button. 20 of you have hit the like button, and like 70 of you had voted. So that's 50 people that voted without hitting the like button. You're supposed to hit the like button first and then vote in the poll.
I wish there was a thing you can't vote in the poll without hitting the like button.
Would beating Buffalo make you positive on the rest of the season? So far, with 71 of you voting, and we went up a couple likes, that means that person hit the like button before they voted. Good for you. 27% have said yes. 54% said no. And 20% said, I've been out since Buffalo week 2. So now it's shifted. Like, way less of today's audience cares about whether we beat Buffalo or not. You know,
Well,
but those people are still there, and some of them are good, decent people that don't
listen,
deserve
I'm a
to have their
diehard
hopes
Dolphins
destroyed.
fan like the rest of us, right? The Dolphins come out and wax the Bills' asses with a 38 to 21 victory. Just completely control the game from front to back.
See,
Look unstoppable. Look like everything Mike McDaniel and the offense were struggling with has gotten fixed. Looks like the defense is able to play it the way it wanted, with the Dolphins having a lead and them sitting back in pass pro, doing what they do best. I'll be excited. I won't be bought in, but I will be excited, and I'll be ready for us to go on prime time and do it again on a Monday night game against the Rams. Again, to me, they win that Rams game along with a victory like I just stated in the Bills. I'm buying back in something that, hey, I've seen crazy things. They can go on a run, and before long, 8-2 becomes 5-2 over the last 7 weeks. You know what I'm saying? And now we're looking at games going, okay, we're in a little bit more of a realistic thing here. What I don't want to have happen, Color.
What if we're sitting 6-4? I mean, you're not going to tell me that the conversation around here is going to be what it is now if we're sitting 6-4.
Well, again,
I'm sorry, we're already 2-5, so that's not possible. Let's say we're sitting 7-5.
I'll be excited about that, of course. But
all I'm saying is, look, I don't mean to make this ideological or political, right? But as an American, bro, it is in my nature, and I was taught that this whole
to be the best,
whether it's functioned this way or not, it was supposed to be speaking and giving voice and giving power to the minority, so that the majority can't rule over the minority.
So Nene's comment is kind of where I stand.
What I'm saying is there's 25% of our audience right now that thinks that they would be more optimistic on the rest of the season if we beat Buffalo. I've got to speak to them.
So, well, this is my point, and this is kind of where I think Nene's coming from. I would be excited and happy that the Dolphins have a decisive victory against a divisional foe like the Bills, one in which we haven't been able to beat as
Right.
of the recent memory. But okay, hold on. But Culler, hold on. I also have an ulterior motive. I don't believe in the future of this franchise with this quarterback that we just paid. And every win we get secures a 2025 with this same quarterback.
I disagree because the eye and the sky don't lie. What, even if Tua wins a bunch of games,
this organization lies, buddy. I don't need the eye in the sky to lie.
Listen to me. Even if Tua rattles off a bunch of wins and gets a playoff win, he's still injury prone. Okay,
that doesn't matter.
Listen to me. It's still not sustainable for the future.
Culler, that's what we knew before we extended him. Okay. This organization don't care about that.
Okay, but
we knew all of what you're saying before we extended this guy. That ain't how they view it.
Okay, fine. I'm just not willing to believe that they wouldn't make the same kind of move others in this league have made, no matter whether they're
playoffs or not. Then I don't know what fan of what franchise you've been, but I'm a Dolphins fan, and that's the exact type of bullshit.
The minority in our fan base believes what I'm saying right now, so I'm gonna say it, bro. When the minority was people were out on Tua, what did I say? I don't believe in Tua. I spoke for them.
I get that, Culler, and I get where your parallel is now. I'm not saying don't believe in this team or wish for losses. I'm telling you how I feel, and every win comes close. Listen, ultimately, I don't want to be a 7, 8, or 9 win team come the end of this season, miss the playoffs, and give this franchise an excuse to roll it back 2023 with a tweak here or 2025 with a tweak here and there.
That's fair enough, but again, that's the majority opinion right now, and you've got all the support you need for that opinion, bro. That's all I'm saying.
To me, I would rather bite the bullet now for the future.
As well as I do, the minority opinion is what's interesting for people to watch.
Of course. But in the same breath, the only reason this majority opinion that was our minority opinion for the last 3 years, I'm not pivoting off the fact that we were right. We've always been right about what this franchise should do, is doing wrong, and what ultimately would happen if they didn't do these wrong things.
If we're focused on all that right now, then we're going to be pretty damn bored when we have to focus on it for the next 2 years, because there is nothing going to be but 2 years of that kind of talk.
Well, I for this moment,
I'm already bored with it.
If we're 7 and 5,
not trying to say, not talking about you here today. I'm talking about. I'm already bored with the, where do we get? Well,
I got it.
The draft ain't for another how many months, dude? I don't.
No, I got you. But here's the thing.
Go fishing.
If the Dolphins are 7 and 7, right? And heading into week 15. And those 5 extra wins they got were so close and against bad teams relative to their records and what we expected the Dolphins to do. I am going to feel like shit.
I understand, but the question
I'm going to be sick.
Okay, I understand. The question I was going to have a minute ago was, do you think that, to Nene's point, and that's the point I was trying to make earlier, do you think that beating Buffalo in this case, in other words, you already said, it means more than getting right on a team like Carolina. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, does it kill at least, I want to say 2 birds with one stone, but at least 1.5 birds with one stone? Not only did you beat Buffalo, but you also got stuff right. Because you're going to have to get shit right to beat Buffalo. You see what I'm saying? Now, the next question would be, can we sustain that to the next week? Of course, that would be the next question.
Yeah, I don't know.
A one-off game. You know what I mean?
Listen, I know what I don't and won't be. I'm not walking into Buffalo whether I was a player, a fan, a coach, and am laying down for nobody, bro. I
I
don't
would
lay
hope
down.
not.
I don't give a
I
damn
have
if
not
I
come to
ain't
know
won a
that about
game
you.
all
So
year.
I mean,
I
I'm Brian Coxing it in there this
I
weekend. I
don't
don't
give
care,
a
bro. I'm
damn.
going in with birds
That's
flying
yep.
in the air, man.
If this team wants to suck, that's fine. But me today, you gonna see me.
But
That's
see that.
how I
But
handle
see,
it.
that's the
That's how I
question,
coach
and
my
I can
kids that
already
I
hear.
coach.
I
That's
look.
how I coach my
Cap,
boy. I'm like, listen, it's kickoff. I get it. You ain't getting to that tackle. So
but
that guy out in front of you, put him on his back.
Cap, I can already hear our mutual friends, bro. But our team, they're soft. They have never done that. Every time we're like, you got to do that, they don't do it.
Now we're getting back to Mike McDaniel and why we shouldn't cape for him. Because if I'm gonna fire Mike McDaniel for anything, it is the inherent problem of breeding in the organization that they've been so happy to facilitate every 3 to 5 years is a pussy organization. Sorry for the foul language, but that's what it is. A soft mindset with soft type of play. Finesse is the
Right,
word that comes to
right.
mind.
Now, right now,
Problem is, Color, we could fire Mike McDaniel all we want. Whether it's the next guy or the guy after, we're going back to it because that's
okay,
what this
but
team
listen,
wants.
listen, real quick. If that's one of the things they happen to out of the blue for some reason, we travel to another universe on Saturday night, right?
Yeah, if Mike McDaniel makes him into a hard-nosed
And
football team all of a sudden, I'll be excited.
absolutely bust Buffalo in the mouth like dogs, bro. And you know what I mean? Like, and they finally show us that thing they haven't showed us.
So listen,
Wait,
now
what
you're
I'm
talking.
asking
Now
is,
you're talking about something else.
wait a minute. What I'm asking is, if that's one of the issues that happens to get fixed Sunday, does that
So
change
yes, it does. It does, but it won't change it in 1 week. It'll have to show me come the
it?
end of the season.
Of course. I'm not even thinking about next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not
So
even
if you're
not
telling
even
me,
entering my mind.
so Color, you're telling me if I see a team that has adjusted its culture and what its identity is, and it's a hard-nosed, feisty, mean,
Right.
never give,
I mean, if they
just nasty football team,
right.
but they ended the season 7-9. I don't care about that 7-9 record.
Agreed.
I feel better about my culture of my football team
Agreed.
in the locker room.
Agreed. And maybe that's possibly what Stephen Ross is trying to find out. If that means a tank,
Oh, I don't think
then
Stephen Ross cares about that, buddy.
then that's not an illegal tank. You see what I'm saying?
I don't think Stephen Ross gives a shit about none of that.
No, I'm talking about when it comes down to it, whoever is speaking for Ross, whoever is deciding, oh, yeah, we need to change the culture. Then I would let things, like I keep saying, we got to let this team fail.
So to me,
If
I
they
agree.
do, then all the tankies get what they want.
So to me, that ain't gonna matter because for all those that blame Mike McDaniel for the culture,
You don't
or
change the
Greer,
culture for purposely losing. You
that's
cannot
not who I
change a
blame.
culture by purposely losing, dude. Sorry, you can't.
Well,
You
there is
change
a
a
thing.
culture by purposely losing.
Well, Color, there is a thing about cutting your losses, right? Knowing that you've got nothing but fucking soft pansies on your team that aren't going to get up.
I'm talking about in a scenario where it's evident that that's changed.
I got you.
Case in point, that when we lost to Buffalo when the snow started falling, we were kicking their ass in the trenches that game on both sides of the ball. I did see that fight that game.
Yeah, but the snow then came and everybody lost fight.
And
That I don't get.
And our coach, once again, that's one of the examples.
Well, then fire the coach then.
I'm not talking about firing the coach. I'm saying he needs to fix that too. And because if not, we're not beating Buffalo. I guarantee you, El Cap, I'm going to call it right now. This is a famous color call right now.
Somebody bookmark it. Somebody clip it. Somebody clip it.
Third quarter goose egg type
one
call.
Of the homies in chat, if Greg's in here, I know he'll get it, or Maybe Joe Rist, but somebody in chat, clip Culler right now. He's calling
Right.
for it. Go.
Third quarter goose egg type of call. Okay. Now, I want to preface it by saying I don't believe any of this is going to happen, first of all. Okay. However, if we are to show up and make it a game, if it turns out that it's a game, win or lose, where we actually tried and nobody's trying to lose and we actually put it, you know what I mean? And it becomes a close game like they have been recently, save for week 2. Okay. And we have a game. I guarantee you it's going to come down to we've got the ball with less than a field goal lead. Hell, with the Bills, it could be a 4-point lead. With 4 or 5 minutes left. And we're either going to drain that clock and possibly kick a game icing field goal, or we're going to punt. Mark my words. And the game will be decided on those two things. Mark my words. And this is supposing that it's a close game, that we actually show up. We are either going to punt on that drive, or we're going to burn, or we're going to control the clock and run the clock out in some fashion. To where there's just, even if there's a minute left, even if we burn 3 minutes of it, and Josh Allen has less time to work with, and that's why they lose. Whatever it is, if we punt on that drive, the Bills are going to win. I'm as sure of that as I am the goose egg in the third quarter opinion. And I've already been proven right so many times about that one. I can't even think about it anymore.
If I'm a betting man, now a betting man is different from a gambling man. Just want to put that out there. Because gamblers gamble. Bettors, try to bet smart.
Quickly, Cap. It's more likely we screw up and get blown out. That's why I'm saying I don't believe none of that'll happen. I'm just saying.
Because I would say
it's a close game.
The betting man in me says that the Dolphins have nothing to play for in the fourth quarter, and we're watching Skylar Thompson close out the game. But the gambler in me is going to take the Dolphins money line because they're going to be getting plus points, and the plus money on that money line is going to be crazy.
They're absolutely on my freaking money line parlay.
I'm definitely betting the money line.
I'm also taking that +6 in a heartbeat. Because think about the scenario I just laid out. If Buffalo ends up winning in that scenario, Dolphins covered. Take that +6. I'm telling you.
Damn, who is this? Whose house is this?
It could end up ending just like it has traditionally. But take that +6, because if it ends the way that Skyler played them in the playoffs, if it ends the way the snow game in Buffalo with Tua, if it ends like last time we played them last year, well, last year I think was 7 points, but still, you got a good shot with that +6. Maybe add a point to it. Maybe increase or change.
Well, Culler, I'm not a betting man.
Add a point. Take +7. You know what I mean?
Culler, I'm not a betting man. I'm a gambling man, and I might give the friggin' Bills 7 points. That's
well, I was going to
6.5.
I was going to say if you just think that this is going to be a traditional Buffalo blowout on Miami, then obviously take the -6. You know what I mean?
But,
why not?
But I'm not going to do that. I'm a gambling man, Culler. I go for gold. Whoa. What's going on here? Something's not right.
So to be clear, what as a non-expert, the bet you would be making if you took the +6 would be that the scenario, this game script that I just illustrated, is what you are betting will happen. Because even if we end up winning the game, the +6, you still win the +6. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So there are 3 reasons to take +6 and only 1 to take minus. You know what I mean? So
yep. Well, I don't know, man. There's Look,
Then, of course, if Miami blows them out, you still win the +6.
yeah,
Which obviously Miami blowing them out is the, you know,
hefty
the least.
gamble.
Yeah.
So, to me, right? I'm
I
not
might
trying
add a
to.
point the other way, Cap, and take +5.
I'm not trying to, play devil's advocate here because I don't think that works. But I've lost faith in this
The devil
team.
being winning. Now you understand the title. It's all fun till someone wins.
Yeah, I know, right? It's a rough go of it to try to imagine that this team is going to do anything other than what I've seen the Dolphins do. Win 5 or 6 more games to put us in the middle of the pack picking, and the only 2 options are keep Tua or tank next year. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I just
Like to me,
first of all,
this
see, that's
this
a whole, and this is why it's hard for me to have the discussion now, because I am still not convinced that tanking is the only way to get ourselves a first overall pick.
now I agree with that sentiment, right? Because you're talking about what kind of culture it brings and tanking and stuff to that nature. Problem is the amount of money we've allocated to players and all that stuff. Like we're in trouble. We have put
Dude,
ourselves.
right now, if you were to take the chance and go at it another year based on the money issues you're talking about that could arise doing that, okay? And you were to plop in your favorite QB to replace Tua, are you fine with that? I mean, are we not in a way? I mean, you understand what I'm saying? Like it keeps
So to me,
we're still in this half foot in the water,
well,
half
because
through the
color,
window, the
color,
Super Bowl
color.
window. You know what I
Here's
mean?
what I'm betting on. Okay, I'm betting on a couple of things with a new rookie QB. Number one, that rookie first year bump. Teams don't
Well,
know what
I
to
would even
expect
mean
from them.
a high class veteran, an
Okay,
upper
well,
echelon veteran, even. You know what I
no,
mean?
no veterans.
I understand
Other,
your point about that. I'm talking about your chances with the team. What you think about the team by itself without the quarterback?
I think the team is fine, and I think the weapons are fine, and I think the fucking the defense was fine until it got all injured. That's not the problem. The problem is that they had an offense schemed for a limited quarterback that once he was out
I just
had
don't know if that
limitations in
can't
the
be
offense
adjusted.
because of it.
I just don't know if that can't be adjusted if it's focused on. If the guy
Well,
is
I
out
know
the
that this
building,
coach can't
if the guy
adjust
is
it.
out the building and we're no longer handcuffed by him, I want Mike McDaniel to have that chance. We talked about that, I think, privately even. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yes, I do. I
I
do
mean,
want him to have chance. That's why I'm not talking about getting rid of Mike McDaniel. I'm not. And I'm saying giving Mike McDaniel
and he
a
has no
young
chance if
quarterback.
you blow up the team, dude. He has no chance if you blow up the team.
The blow up of the team is only because we've won enough games to not get
Then
anything
we're
or
gonna.
anybody.
Then we're no. I'm
So
talking
when you
about.
say a veteran,
No. I'm talking about him proving by winning too many games this year that
Color, that's not what
just
this organization does. You're talking
okay.
in a sensibility. You
I
know what
understand.
happens if
I
we win
understand it,
7
but I'm talking
games?
about if what you're saying is true, then it's not just this year. We're tanking next year. So are we going to be ready to accept Mike McDaniel losing 17 ball games, or is he going to be safe then? What's the point?
Well, Color, you're talking in a realm of just all possibilities and working at it. I'm talking in a realm of limited
But I can
possibilities.
understand why people are saying just fire him now, because if all you're going to do is blame him for a tanked year next year, then what's the point?
Color, because I'm telling you, I have to work in the realm of the Miami Dolphins possibilities because I know whether Chris Greer and Garfinkel and everybody's
Now
fired,
you know
I
why I
know
call it.
what the
Now you know
answers will
why I
always
call it
be.
for 10 years. Because we wouldn't even be having this discussion if they would have given him 10 years coming in the door. Because guess what? What we're talking about, where he ends up having to tank a second year in a row, there would be no blaming him after next year's tank. He'd have 4 more years left on his contract.
They don't give a fuck about that color.
I know. I'm just saying, theoretically, is what I meant to say there. You know what I mean?
I don't listen, color. I don't care about saving his job. I do and don't. See what I'm saying?
Right,
I
which is
don't
why I
care.
would say we're not apologists here. We're just saying, hey, if there's a way to save it, my opinion is this would be the only way for him to save it. Your opinion is it's almost unsavable. You know what I mean? Because he would have
Hold
to
on a
tank the
second.
rest of this year. He would have to weather the storm of being blamed for that. And then because of the contractual issues you're talking about, he's going to have to tank next year because either a new quarterback of his choosing or him starting to put together his own team, it's not going to be ready to win next year. So he's going to have to weather the storm of another tank next year is what I'm saying. And so if he's not going to be able to weather that storm because of the fickleness of this fan base, then they might as well just fire him now. And make it clear we're not winning another game this year. And the next coach can start from scratch. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it seems pointless to me. Unless they plan on doing it at the end of this year, which is fine too. But then that means that I'm again speaking to the 75%. Hey, everybody, we're not winning another game. Show over. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we're doing here. We're talking about like what are we gonna do for our next team that we're building?
Sorry, I had a phone call. So look, I get it. I don't want to turn the page just yet either, color, right? Turning the page comes here soon. But again, I also don't want to repeat the mistakes of yesteryear. Okay? Meaning I don't want this team to only have one of two choices. Run it back or choose to blow it up. I like the idea of keeping the team by and large in the most way, weapons, re-signing some of the linemen, re-signing some of the D linemen, and then adding, some draft picks or and some free agent guys in the trenches, and then running it back with a young rookie quarterback. I like that idea. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that's fine, but all of that's going to require McDaniel to be saved.
I agree with McDaniel being saved. If we don't save McDaniel, then we might as well just blow it up. Because how am I going to give somebody else Mike McDaniel's groceries and tell him to make me a souffle?
In my opinion, I don't think Ross can just protect McDaniel if we lose out this year. They're going to have to find another way to move up in the draft, bro.
Well, Color, I don't think they have to lose every game, Color. Hold on, Color. Okay. I don't think they have to lose every game from here on out either. I still think they can win 2, potentially a third.
It's relatively the same. It's just another 10 places in the draft. What's the difference? If you got the goods that the first overall team wants, you can move up from 32nd.
Sure. Well, yeah, if you want to give them all your first, all your seconds,
you're gonna have to do that. Well, you're gonna have to do that whether you're 10th or whether you're 32nd.
Well, again, I'm not saying don't do that either, but I'm also saying that, hey, I'd rather give up as little as possible to move up as high as I need to,
at the expense of risking and violating all of the rest of the players that didn't get the memo.
I don't give a fuck about the players or the memos that they needed to get, Color.
Well, then that's you. That's not me, bro.
I understand what you're saying in that,
bro.
I know you do, Color, and I'm willing to be as evil as it takes to win a Super Bowl. I just want that to be known to everyone listening. Whatever needs to be done to win a Super Bowl outside of committing crimes and breaking laws, I'm willing to do.
Yeah.
Rules, I'll break rules. Cheat, fine. All that, give it to me. Break the law? No.
Go 8-2 right now. You're talking about a coach that was able to fix his shit and do the
Color,
same
you're the
thing
one
that
talking about them going 8-2.
hold on. But you're talking about a guy going 8-2, right? And fixing his shit, which is the same thing Flores did. And we're not gonna heap praise on that guy.
If he goes 8-2, Color, I will praise the bloody hell out of him.
But then we're screwed because
Absolutely.
we still got Tua next year.
Color, then that is what it is.
I don't
If
think
you're
so.
saying, okay, now you've changed it again.
No,
If
I
you're
don't
saying
think
we
we'd be
go,
stuck with Tua because of that.
okay, you're saying if we go 8-2 and salvage this season. That's different than the question you asked. Because if it goes down the way you just said,
That's the question I've been asking.
well, I don't know. Maybe I misheard it. Either way,
No. Seriously, like the people that are ready to tank have been off of this team since Buffalo in week 2.
we've been off the teams since. Well, yes,
Off
sure.
the season, I mean.
No, you know why? Because they all went hard in the paint for extending Tua and at all cost. And now that he's
Yeah, but some
extended,
of them have
the,
good reasons.
the
Like
Tua
yourself.
sexuals.
Like
Listen, two
yourself, what you're
things.
saying to me now.
Hold on, Color. Two things. The Tua sexuals got their baby boy paid, so they don't care. They never cared about us winning. And then the Tua believers that bought in late in the game want him off the team because they don't want us to point our fingers at him and go, look how stupid you are and what you did to this team. So they want to correct it this year so they don't have to live with us calling them out for the next 3 years.
Well, I understand, but some of those that want to just say, forget it all, and that's our only way, are people that have valid reasons like yourself. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, obviously there is those of us who are right and have valid reasons.
Right. So what I'm saying is I don't know what the conversation I'm to have with those people is like.
You're having a hard time finding how to argue with a guy like me, is what you're saying.
No. Well, no offense, there is no argument to be made. That's a completely different discussion. And if you're at that point, then I don't know I can't speak to that. You see what I'm saying?
Well, the only reason I'm at that point is because we're at the point in which I knew was always coming.
It's like saying, well, don't bother becoming an astronaut because the whole Earth's going to blow up one day anyway. You know what I mean? Okay, well then I guess I won't do anything anymore. You know what I mean?
No, but I say I'm not going to bother becoming an astronaut because I'm not mentally equipped with the science and mathematics that it would take, nor do I care enough to be mentally equipped for it.
To do nothing.
Well, I can look at the stars, can I?
No, you can also go become a grocery store bagger or something. You're not going to do nothing. You're not going to give up on it. Go, well, anything you do, Cap. I just use one example.
That's just
Why
it.
bother going out of your house every day? I mean, you could get, a meteor could crash.
So, Color, what your problem and your ultimate gripe is you can never side with what is seemingly perceived by you as a defeatist mentality. That's all.
Not during the season. No, I can't.
You can't. And
I've always said that. I've always been clear about that, bro.
I'm telling you, it's like going to the gym and getting on a diet. It's sacrifice. It sucks. You eat food that has no flavor, all that stuff, but you do it long enough so that one day you get the body you want. And then you also get to have the cheat days for the cakes and the whatever is your crutch.
I've been to some pretty empty stadiums, dude, in years where the very fans that were holding up Tank for Tua signs were the same fans still standing up to cheer on third down, dude.
Well, that I'm not. Listen, I'm not saying.
I mean, not everybody's a Bamaneer. You know what I mean?
I know that, buddy. I know that. And listen, before Tua got injured, I wanted him to, buddy.
I'm just
before
saying
he got injured, I wanted him to.
I'm just saying that in the stadium,
but I don't.
There might have only been 55,000 and not full capacity. But every one of them stood up on third down when the horn sounded, and we had to get loud for the defense. Why bother if we already know we're going to lose?
But Color
seems like a lot of wasted energy to me. You know what I mean?
I get you, buddy. But here's the thing: I'm not going to cling to the same mistakes to repeat for the sake of some perceived integrity I have in myself. I would rather take a failure now than be a failure for forever later.
Well, I
It's giving
understand
ground
that,
to
dude.
take
I
ground.
understand. Again, it's not that I disagree with your opinion. It's that I can't speak to that right now at week 8 or wherever we're at in the season. You know what I mean?
Next week we can. Well, again,
Oh, again, when you're talking about being on the edge of mathematically no chance, then yeah. And this is what's interesting right here, and I'm gonna get to the super chat in just a second. But I just wanted to say it's funny you arrived at that because I did send CB80 Who the link this morning. I know he had to go to work at noon, so it wasn't gonna work out. But I sent it to him anyway in case we'd be able to get him on real quick for a couple minutes.
I don't know who that is, but okay.
Me neither. But I met him in this chat this morning on Miss Finn's channel, and
You
we
think
were
you're
like,
understanding the guy a little bit finally?
well, we were, and him, me, believe it or not. You know
You
what I
guys
mean?
make
And I'm
out
trying to
afterwards?
tell him, bro, it's like I've always been this way, dude. You just misunderstood all of it. So the point, the thing that I told him was, look, bro, because he was surprised that I was still in on the season, that I'm still optimistic. You know what I mean? And that I was going to go with that angle on my show. And I'm like, look, bro, I've always said it. I am a mathematical fanatical. And I think I just coined that term, mathematical fanatical. During the season, it's going to require mathematics for me to stop expecting a win. And key word again, expect, not predict. I don't believe any more than you do, Elcat.
So, so a couple of things, right? I
He's
hear
the
you.
losing. He's the losing. Miami shoots themselves in the foot. Show over.
Yeah, I'm
He's
not
the winning. 2 hours long. You know what I
so
mean?
Color. I don't know. I don't want to say I'm a more evolved fan because that's not what I mean. I'm a more maybe. Here's the thing, right? Like the Dolphins can be as much losers as they want, and I can be a fan of them even though they're losers. But myself, I never identify as what they are. And that's why I can't stand to watch them make the same mistakes and not learn from them, like I've pointed out over and over again, because ultimately I see this coming.
You know what I
I
can't
w-
stand even more? I mean,
hmm,
you guys, bro, I respect you all, bro. And again, I even share a lot of your opinion. As I just pointed out, it's more about what I expect, right? What I don't have respect for is a shill for the organization that calls themselves a journalist,
oh
saying that
yeah,
they told us all along that this team was junk, basically.
yeah.
So
And you know what else I can't stand?
I'm paraphrasing what the person said.
You know what else I can't stand is these people who go around willing puppeteers of the organization because they have some delusion in their head that the Dolphins are watching them and going to call them up and make them the next Travis Wingfield or some
Right.
shit
Right. Oh, we
because
can
they
trust that guy. He's towing the company line till the very end.
exactly. To me, if everyone's going left, I'm gonna go right. I can't. It's in my nature. Even if I'm leading myself down the wrong way, I shall not follow. That's just it. Now, I say that also with I'm not a dumbass. I'm not going to walk through fire or
Of
something
course
like that.
not.
But what I mean is that I'm not interested in doing what I'm told because people say it's good for me. In fact, when everyone's saying something, oh, go watch this, oh, go see this, oh, you need to do that, I'm like, nah, that's for y'all weaklings need to do that. Now, that might be a character flaw in my fucking ordeal, but at the same time, I don't care. I don't. I don't like
Well,
it. In fact,
look,
when everyone's zigging, I'm looking to zag because I'm trying to get in front of the curve.
well, the thing of it is, bro, is that if we lose this week, which is likely what'll happen, yeah, am I gonna stop going to the games? No, I'm
No,
gonna
no,
go to
no.
the games with my notepad because I'm gonna shift to that to evaluation mode because I know the season's over.
Yeah, and looking at what is either worth something to sell or worth something to keep or
Huh.
worthless and need to get rid of. And look,
But the
I'm gonna
entire universe changes for me. And this is me answering my own poll question. The entire universe changes for me if we beat Buffalo this week. Not because I think that we should keep, run it back next year. No, I still think there's a way out of running it back next year, no matter what happens this year. And so the universe will change completely for me if we beat Buffalo this week.
see my universe won't change with Buffalo because I live in my own universe, right?
I know.
They gotta what has to happen
I'm
for me to change.
just
What has
talking
to
about
happen?
my
No,
fan
I got you.
universe.
But what has to happen for me, for the Dolphins to change, is them to enter the universe I already inhabit, not the other way around.
I know, but as hard as people are going, even AB, we're not beating Buffalo. What AB? You don't believe in in QB1? You don't believe in Oos? Ye of little faith.
Damn, not ye have little faith.
See how he's got me defending 2 in ears, bro? Oh, it's
I know.
sickening. It's sickening.
So again, right? Like, I'm gonna be here for it. I'm gonna be here for a triumphant race back into the playoffs for the Dolphins, or an epic collapse that ends us with a top 5 pick, or probably what is more likely to happen: the Dolphins being the Dolphins, like the Jets be the Jets, and we win just enough games to put us in a quagmire where we're damned if we do and damned if we don't. And what I mean by that is we're damned if we stick with Tua and try to roll back a lesser talented team and try to do better than we did in 2024 with less talent in 2025, or we're damned on the other spectrum where we've won too many games and we've got to give up everything and then some to
Well,
go
I guess
get somebody
if
we
you put it
hope can be better than Tua that ultimately can't because we don't have anything for them.
well, if you put it that way, Captain, I'm going to tell you just like just like old Doc would have said. I was damned the moment I chose to be a Dolphin fan, bro. It's like I'm
That's
gonna
true.
rather do than don't. You know what I mean? I already made that choice, Cap. I already done that deal. I'd rather just do.
Ooh, I knew I forgot something. I got it, boys. Sorry, man. I'm double in detail today. Yeah, I mean, look, I bleed aqua and orange, but I've done it for the same reasons I've always bled aqua and orange, because that's where my people are. That's it. My family's all Dolphin fans. People who I don't even know become close friends quicker than those who I have all the same interests as I do. They could like the same music, like to do the same things. But those that are Dolphin fans and have been Dolphin fans a long time, I identify with closer than people who I have more in common with, because I feel like the character of the Dolphins fan to withstand what we withstood, but also, I mean, bro, we have the same battle scars, right? It's a kinship that can't be duplicated in anything else that I have in my life, as I believe most of us. So I'll be here for us, and hopefully the team will one day be here for me and us. That's all I got, dog.
Well, I just see it like there's a whole lot of mediocre teams right now, sub 500 even. In order for those teams to correct things and get a chance to go to the playoffs, the 5 teams that are not mediocre have to turn into mediocre. So if that happens, everybody will go into the playoffs without having proven which one of them is not mediocre. Now we know we can predict KC not mediocre, obviously. Ravens not mediocre. Okay, I get that. But given that everybody pretty much will have a 10-7, 11-6 record going into the playoffs, except maybe one or two outliers. That is the only place that it's going to be proven who's mediocre and who's not. I would like an opportunity to be at that table, to be at that dance, because ain't nothing we do the rest of the season is going to prove whether we're mediocre or not. And that goes for every other team that's 2-4, 2-5, 2-6 that is below us in the rankings.
So
some of those teams people have a better shot than we do.
So you make a valid point, Culler, right? But I already told you my character and who and what I believe in.
I understand. I'm just saying
And
record
so
is not going to determine mediocrity this year.
I will never measure myself downward for anything. I only measure
What
up.
I'm talking
And
about.
even
That's
if
not
they're
what I'm
up
talking
above
about.
me, well, it does when
I'm
you say
talking about
something like,
parity.
look at all the teams that are terrible right now, and the Dolphins are one of them. What's to say any one of those teams, Dolphins included, can't turn it around? And I agree with that.
Right. And we're not going to know whether one of them is still mediocre and pretending until the playoffs.
Agreed.
That's all
But
I'm saying. The record is not going to determine mediocrity this
I gotta
year.
say, Culler, you're exhausting today. I am exhausted. I am exhausted trying to keep up with you on this. You were whipping my ass because
man, bro. I wear you down till you get so
I'm
tired.
getting worn down because like I don't know how to you want to, I can't move you off your motherfucking square.
That's
That's it.
because I'm fucking right, bro.
See, that's where I think you're wrong though. I think you're wrong. But you're not wrong in the logic because there's no arguing because in technicalities, we're not out of it.
Right.
And even until we lose,
I would never presume to argue with you the way I am right now next Monday if we lose.
well, Culler, technically, I could pivot and you could be arguing it's over, and I could say, well, technically it's not.
Hey, we did say 8-3 last year. That would just mean we got to go 8-1. You know what I mean?
I mean, listen, we'll just or who's to say they don't go 9-0? It's just an exhausting way to live and be.
That's why you just give in, bro.
I never give in.
You give in and believe.
Nope. Nope. I didn't do it when they were saying I need to with Tua. I ain't now, and I don't give a damn. You know what this team and organization hold on. You know what this team and organization needs to do? They need to listen to me because I got the answers. Let me run this bitch, Mr.
Ain't got no hope. Who wants a guy with no hope?
I don't need hope, bro. I get facts, cold hard facts. Give me a guy that if he wasn't in the NFL would be in prison because he's a psychopath. I need 20 of those on my defense.
We'll see how much hope you're begging for when we have a bad kicker needing to make a game-winning field goal in the Super Bowl.
I don't even want a kicker, Culler. I don't even want a kicker on this football team. Okay? So just so you know, we're doing some revolutionary stuff on Chris's Miami Dolphins. And starting off, we have no kicker. Or no, we've got a kicker, but we don't have a punter. We don't punt. And our kicker is our punter.
As I alluded to earlier, tail of the tape, Dolphins are a 6-point underdog going into Buffalo. Over and under is 49.5.
I'm going to wait on that line because I feel like it's going to go over 6. It'll at least get 6.5. I think it'll go to 7.
Dolphins plus 220 now on the money line, minus 270 for the Bills. ESPN matchup predictor, according to ESPN Analytics, has Buffalo with a 72.8% chance of winning, Miami with 27% chance. That's about
better than I thought.
That's actually better than it was the last time we beat them, as I keep pointing out to people. Tua now in 3 games of action, 68 for 100, 717 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, while Josh Allen enjoying a nice season, 143 on 223 attempts, 1,766 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 1 interception.
Yeah, he's been really good with the interceptions this year.
In the backfield, Devon Achane, 81 carries, 357 yards, and a tutty. James Cook, 99 carries, 452 yards, and 7 touchdowns. So they are definitely putting points up. Receiving yards or receiving, Tyreek Hill, 30 receptions, 366 for a touchdown. And they have Khalil Shakir highlighted at 36 receptions, 421 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Quick injury report. So a quick look at it. Zach Sealer, questionable. Cater Kohu, questionable. Storm Duck, questionable. Javon Holland, questionable. And as well on the Buffalo side, they're looking at questionable on Curtis Samuel. Terrell Bernard, questionable. Dwayne Carter is on IR. Grable and Clayton.
Hey, Culler, real quick, did you notice Cam Smith on the field on Sunday?
I did. I think he
Yeah,
had
I
like
did too.
a few plays.
He had a couple of snaps.
That guy Terrell Bernard, questionable. That's one to look for because that dude's actually a name that I always see when we play them.
Yeah, the safety.
Yeah,
or
I believe so, or linebacker.
Yeah.
No, he's a linebacker.
Okay.
Game time weather. Of course, it's in Orchard Park, New York. According to AccuWeather, afternoon weather for Buffalo is going to be 59 degrees. It'll feel like 60. Wind out of the east. Wind out of the east at 5 miles an hour. Wind gusts up to 10.
Do they when it's 59? Do they need to tell you it feels like 60? That is dumb as hell.
I know. Well, it happens to be because of the humidity. Of course, is 52%, which is gorgeous football weather. Probability of precipitation 25%. Cloud cover 99%. So it will be an overcast day, albeit not windy. Rolling into the evening there, just so we know in case the weather comes early, the temperatures are expected to drop into the 40s. Game should end around 4:30. If that weather comes a little early, it could start to get a little cold during the game, but I don't think it's anything we'll have to worry about. Yeah, and this weather report brought to you by Chef Jew Catering. I don't think I have that one in mind. That's okay. We can switch over real quick. It'll be on that one.
I got to run in like 10 minutes. I got a 2:00 appointment. But yes.
2:00. Now you got going at 2:00, doctor or something?
No, I got a meeting with a homeowner. Dang, check out the merch apparel store moving now.
I know. You see that? That's sneak peek. That's sneak peek. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to see that yet. Yeah, that's coming soon. That's going to be the.
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be basically the backdrop for the commercial that I still have to get a recording down for. I promised HB I was going to lay down the tape last night, and I didn't get to it. So
yeah, HB's been cooking up all kinds of stuff in the back.
Yep. So
one could say he's Chef HB.
Mm-hmm. So I got to get back in the studio and get that done so we can get that new commercial out. That'll be cool.
True Fin fan says they're Bills win Super Bowl. I get it. True Fin's making fun of them because they're a Super Bowl winless team. It is a trope and something Dolphin fans have taken their victory laps, and rightfully so, right? I mean, going undefeated is something to be marveled in any sport, much less one of the hardest sports to do it in. And technically, they went undefeated even longer because they stayed on that undefeated streak through 73 till I think week 8 until they lost to Minnesota, I think, or the Washington Redskins at the time. I don't know, but they had the longest active winning streak in the NFL for a long time. Even if someone does somehow win a Super Bowl undefeated, which I doubt will ever happen, they would need to go further into the year next to match a winning streak like the Dolphins had in the early 70s. Problem is that was about 11 years to 14 years before I was born. And I'm willing to, be proud of the heritage, but it's not good enough for me anymore. It's not. So.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing you throw in the face of a Bills fan when when they tell you you have no reason to be a Dolphin fan. That's when you throw that card out there. You don't throw it out
Yeah.
there in their face to say, "Oh, we're better than you now because of this and that." No.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work like that.
I mean, they're putting it down right now. What can you say? I'm not going to give them credit for it. I'm not one of those fans. I don't give a damn if they're putting it down, but they are putting it down. So
Yeah, and I mean, look, by any measure, the last couple of years and this year included, they're closer to the Super Bowl than we are. So
yeah.
now,
I mean, they were back in the Marino days. I mean,
I'll tell you what,
acknowledge
if they go on a 9-game, 10-game winning streak and retake the division and, or have a finish like Culler's talking about, and even if they are in the wild card, I would say we are equally as close to winning the Super Bowl. But at this current juncture today, I'm not even going to talk crazy like that.
Of course not. But we can talk about the game coming up.
That's true.
Because that's the one on our plate, even if we don't think we can win it. But did you happen to hear what Brian Flores said about Anthony Richardson at the podium the other day?
I did not, Culler.
Quite interesting little tidbit.
Really? What did he say?
He had nothing but grace to give the guy.
The quitter?
Well, he didn't refer to him that way. He said, "Look, man, the guy tapped out of that play. Like he was and he basically said, he himself got tired just watching the play." And then he went on to praise his talent and his ability and his prospects for the future.
So I know Dolphin fans again, this is my problem with Dolphin fans. They love to look at other people's struggle and make fun of them because their struggles are less than. That, it to me, is a loser mentality, a soft mentality. It is a weak way to look at the world and things, to look at others that are, it's like being poor, but not being homeless. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Well, others have told me, well, why couldn't he just handed the ball off on the next play then? Well, look, when you're that gassed, sometimes you can't even lift up your arms.
Listen,
Point
you know
is,
what would have been, been worse?
Well, real
He
quick,
would have went out there and got cleaned out and taken out of the game.
You know how I know you can be that gassed? Because I don't recall Josh Allen just handing the ball off the last time we beat him when he dirted a football because he couldn't lift his arms. Maybe he should have taken himself out the game.
It's common practice for running backs, wide receivers to wave to the sidelines to take them out because they're worn out from running. When you have a quarterback that is more of a runner than he certainly is a passer, you're going to see something like that too.
He had hit it. I mean, he had ran through a linebacker and all this other kind of stuff. Like Flores just said, he felt like he got tired just watching the play.
Yep.
It is what it is. But people always want to make it about what they want it to be about, and it's like, okay,
that's where I have a problem.
We could point to Josh Allen. Why are you going to dirt the ball instead of handing the ball off there? That's the same difference. You're still taking yourself out of the next play.
Yeah, Josh Allen, throw it in the air and get it intercepted like you used to. Quit being a jerk.
My point is, if Josh Allen would have tapped himself on the hat and they would have sent in Kyle Allen to hand the ball off the next play, what would have been the difference if Josh Allen handed the ball off? He's still taking himself out of the play instead of dirting the football and losing the game. How about that?
I don't know.
Keep going.
Again,
These people can keep going with the narrative. He quit.
Listen, fine. He quit. Whatever. I don't care about none of that. Because again, I'm not going to measure up his quitting to our struggles and think, well, at least we're not that bad. I don't want to be bad at all.
Exactly.
always focused on the wrong stuff, Dolphin fans.
Ironically, it was people saying, "Oh, now you learned how to treat people." Like in other words, he should have been heaping that kind of grace on Tua. That's what they made it about.
Well, I remember him saying that he would protect his own son, and that if he was his son, he wouldn't want him to.
He
So
wouldn't
I don't
put him
know.
out there.
They
Right.
always forget that part. They looked at that and said he's hurting him. He hates him. Whatever. All right, Culler. I'll be back.
All righty, buddy. All right. Cap's gone. Now we can. Just kidding. Anyway, some other quick headlines in the NFL. The Vikings to get Robinson from the Jags. Warrant request made for Jameson Williams from the Lions from his legal troubles. Jets, Aaron Rodgers. I don't even talk about that. Ravens have picked up Deontay Johnson at wide receiver. And, of course, wide receiver Stephon Diggs now ruled out for the season with an ACL injury. That's too bad for Houston, and too bad for Diggs. Hope he recovers well. See you next year. So now we're going to get into a couple things about our team and about this and that and the other. We're done with we just had the conversation about why it's even worth talking about all this stuff. But I'm not convinced it's not worth it. So we're going to go through it. As soon as y'all hit the like button. Oh, did I get to your super chat Tuesday? No, I didn't. So Tuesday, thank you for the $5 donation. I slipped my mind to get back to it. Appreciate all donations. Everybody be like Tua Tuesday. Throw a donny in. Super chat, super stickers, Venmo, Cash App. Become a member. You can do it monthly if you like. That would really help out the show. At the very least, hit the like button, which we have about 42 now, with 99 of you have voted. So get them likes in. I want to see more likes before I get into why we can actually pull this nonsense off. And if we do, why it would make sense to keep going with that energy. Tua Tuesday says, listen, I like Tua, and he got paid, but don't get me twisted. If he fails us, I'm not going to be happy. Thanks, guys. No, thank you, Tua Tuesday, and I totally understand where you're coming from. So we lost a game last week. We lost a game with Tua. He looked a lot better than what we've been putting down. I'm not going to argue why that is. I have my own opinion. But needless to say, it looked better. Now, I've already reviewed quite a bit of the film, and I know that there's a lot of meat left on the bone, left by Tua, that could have, on several occasions, been the difference in this ballgame. One of the things I noticed in a lot of that film is how nice and clean our pockets looked, how good the protection looked for Tua. I mean, we had some of these plays where he just has all day and all kinds of space and everybody locked up with nothing but several choices to throw to in the field. That's a good thing, even though he didn't take advantage of all of what he could have. That's still a good thing. And for those of you that think that I'm watching or not understanding what I'm looking at when I look at the all 22, I would say I will give you the currently updated to October 29th, ESPN offensive and defensive line win rates. How you doing, Shake?
Hey, what's going on, man? I came here to do some two quick shameless plugs. Later on today, when I guess Red Wine Bills feels up to it, we did a pre-recorded show with him, me and Crypto, Constant Connection. We're doing our tours, you know what I'm saying? And then our own Tonk 7 will be making his return. He was on a 2-week hiatus, so he'll be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock tomorrow night.
Oh, great. That's good to hear. Did you do you want to give us a little sneak peek on your pick for the Dolphins Bills game, or are you making people go watch the show for that? Wouldn't bother me either way, because I watch your show every time anyway.
What is it now?
Little sneak peek on who you got for the Bills Dolphins, or do we have to wait to go watch Insomnia?
Oh no. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do the Smoke Lounge tonight, maybe 7:30.
Right on. Yeah, make sure you all are back around tonight for the Smoke Lounge. Shake will probably give you the perspective of the other coaches, if I'm guessing correctly.
Yeah. I'm gonna be looking up the Josh Allen presser, see if he drops any gems about the Dolphins, and the McDermott one.
I don't think you're going to find many gems to mine out of Allen's head.
And let's hope McDermott doesn't make any more Al-Qaeda references.
Right. You're probably if you try to mine Josh Allen's head, you're probably just going to find a bunch of guano. Guano can be pretty valuable, but I don't know if you're going to get much information out of it. Anyway, so the win rate for offensive and defensive line. Now, our run stop win rate, to start with the defense, we held them to under 100 yards last week for their running back, and despite that, our run block win rate seems to have dropped a little bit. We were in the teens, now we're 22nd in the league. So obviously we got to find a way to stop the run better. I mean, it just is what it is. On the other hand, our pass rush win rate on defense, we are ranked 12th. So we are able to somewhat get in the backfield. We need to improve on that. Remember, we've got a lot of guys injured in that regard, and we're still holding a 12th ranking on a pass rush win rate. Now, over to the offensive line. Despite having a mediocre performance in, offensive production against Arizona, our offensive line still holding its place in the rankings. We actually improved a little bit in our run block win rate. We were 17th, but it still remains higher than our pass block win rate. We are currently ranked 15th in run block win rate, while we are still ranked 12th in pass block win rate. And if you want to say the Dolphins are the 12th ranked team in pass block win rate, then I would tell you that the All 22 confirms that. It supports that, I should say. We do have one guy on the list, actually two guys. Offensive tackle run block win rate rankings individually, Teron Armstead remains 5th in the league. And over on the defensive line, we've got our own Calais Campbell, ranked 4th in the league amongst defensive tackles for pass rush win rate. So despite being 22nd in that category as a team, we do have the 4th ranked defensive tackle. I forgot to mention also a third guy, Zach Sealer, still remains 17th on that same list, even though he didn't play against Arizona. So hopefully we can get him back. That would benefit us. Not going to beat Josh Allen without Zach Sealer.
Yeah,
QBR.
you're gonna have to keep an eye on him.
What's that? Yeah. Good one, Shake. Good one. Gotta love Shake, man. He knows how we roll around here. Gotta keep an eye on him. Man, I thought I might have a meme for that, but I'll have to wait. I'll have to find a better spot. Anyway, so weekly leaders on QBR. We do get a recording from Tua this week since he played. He had the 21st ranked QBR at 48.3. So there's that. Overall, to the team total defensive stats, we dropped a little. Just like we said, we played inferior teams on offense, and now that we played an offense that put up some numbers, we certainly did drop in the rankings some, but not a lot. We still held their team to less points than their defense held our offense. So it is what it is. You're talking about our average. I'll start with points per game. We're middle of the pack at 22.4. Going into that game last week, we were 21.5. Kyler Murray scored 5 more points than our average. All that running around, all throwing all them touchdowns, throwing for all that yardage, amounted him to 5 more points than our average surrendered on the season. So while we did bend a lot on defense, I would argue we still didn't break. Total yards per game against our defense, Miami currently sits 6th ranked in the league. Total yards overall, Miami's 3rd ranked. On the rushing side of the ball, the Dolphins are currently ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16th in yards per game surrendered at 123.7, which, by the way, has dropped from last week's 134, roughly. So again, holding them to under 100 yards for their running back did improve our run defense. While on the total yards side of the ball, rushing yards surrendered this season, Miami's 12th ranked. We've given up the 12th least amount of yardage total on the ground. Points overall for the season: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th. Miami ranks 10th in points surrendered overall this season. That's 10th least surrendered. Over on the passing side of the ball, Miami has dropped to 5th in yards per game given up. Kyler Murray had a day. He threw for over 300 yards. Hats off to him. He stood in the pocket and cooked us. I think our offense might have helped with that a little bit. Some of that yardage certainly came on their last drive, which I would argue they wouldn't have had we taken care of business.
If he beat us from the pocket, then that should kill the narrative that Tua can't see over the line.
Right. Now, on the other hand, in yards total surrendered for the whole season, Miami is still ranked 2nd behind the Tennessee Titans. So that's where we stand on defense. I don't need to tell you where we stand on offense unless you want me to tell you a bunch of high numbers. Actually, they're not quite as bad. But we didn't put up a huge offensive total this game, so they haven't changed much. I can point to points per game as a rough a rough stat. We're 32nd in the league at 13.9 points per game. So what am I supposed to say about the offense? We did produce more than we have this season, except for Jacksonville. So that needs to improve. There's nothing else to say about it. The last bit of info I want to go over before we get to cooking the coach. I always point to these numbers once or twice throughout the season. Offense and defense efficiencies. Before I get to those, hit the like button. And I'm also going to get to the mathematical ESPN Analytics NFL Football Power Index. Uh, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 24. Miami has actually moved up 5 spots to 25th. So we actually did have enough of a showing that it has affected the computer, and we have moved up 5 spots in the power index rankings. So there's that, but we're currently still ranked 25th. And our record is still projected at 6-11. So that hasn't changed much. Efficiencies. Overall, the Dolphins are ranked 27th overall in team efficiency. On offense, unfortunately, the Dolphins are ranked 29th. That has improved since this game, but not much. On defense, we are ranked 12th in efficiencies. So that's basically kind of like a summary of an overall. Like you can say, okay, yeah, we're top 5 and top 3 in these areas. We're top 12 in these areas, top 20 in these areas, but overall, efficiency wise, which is really a measure of how clean you're playing defense, how much you're maximizing your effort. So this factors in things like third downs, percentage, all that stuff. And we're ranked 12th. That's where I think that's probably fairly where we should be sitting based on what we've seen over the season. What do you think, Shake? You think that's high, low, right about spot on? Given our quality of opponent and all that other nonsense?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it depends on what you call quality of opponents, but yeah.
Well, quality of opponent would be right there in the pudding. We're not the first person Kyler's scored over 24 points on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Buffalo's one of them, I believe.
I mean, we know these teams are going to put up numbers. It's really about, can you get off the field? And that's kind of where I feel 12th ranked in efficiencies. That seems about how we are based on our quality of opponent so far. We get off the field a lot on third down, although we're dealing with teams that don't convert a lot on third down either. However, for those that think it's all about bad teams, I want to point out that Buffalo was 3 for 7 on third down. I think it was 3 for 7. Either case, it was a very low percentage third down conversion against Buffalo as well. Now, you would argue, okay, well, what did we have to do? That we gave them 3 short fields. It's not like they had to even convert any third downs. I get that too. But let's not act like, it's our defense that got torched that game, all day. They didn't have a lot of offensive production if you look at the numbers. They didn't need to. We gave them a short field 3 times. You know? They beat us the same way the Lions beat the Titans effectively. They said, we don't need to do nothing. I think Jared Goff had, I don't even think he had 100 yards passing. But yet they put up 52 points.
Yeah, and you know what? Everybody says, "Oh, we're a fumble away and a toe tap from being, 0 whatever." Well, I
Right.
could say the same thing. We're a fumble away and a safety away from being having 4 wins.
Of course. Of course. We're a bad coaching decision on 1 down. We're 1 yard away from 3 and 4 right now. Shake. I mean, if we even get 1 yard on the ground on that 2nd and 12, that 3rd down doesn't have to be challenged. And on both plays, the clock continues to run. That's a minute right there of time we left on. Just that sequence alone, that failure to get 1 yard on 2nd and 12 allowed them a full minute of time extra.
And if you go to that Indy game, if Mostert didn't fumble that ball, they wouldn't have scored that touchdown. That was the difference of the game.
Right. We can play the same argument here. And by the way, if they really want to be sourpusses, Shake, right? They wouldn't be talking about we're a fumble and a toe tap away from 0-7 or whatever. They'd be calling it what it really is. We're a toe tap and a fumble and a toe tap and a fumble away from 0-10 in our last 10 ball games. So if they really want to ride with that narrative, they need to really step on the gas with that energy and call it what it really is. Because as I looked last night and did the math, if you want to know what our current 17 game sample size is, if you were to take the last 17 games and treat it as a season, we're 7-10. Let me make sure I have that right. I got it on a note here. I hand wrote it with my stylus, Moto Stylus 5G. Yeah, 7-10 since Germany. Did y'all know that? We're 7-10 since Germany. That's a 17 game sample size. That's a season. I mean, I don't know what else to say. You know, if people want to crap on it and be like, we're a fumble away from this or that, then call it what it is. We're a fumble away from 0-10 in our last 10.
You know, it's funny though. I find it funny that it's when a team loses. All right, let's say a good team like the Chiefs lose to a crappy team. It's any given Sunday. But when we lose to a crappy team, we suck. We're garbage.
Right.
It's over.
Well, that's precisely what I was just trying to tell Cap. If he laid out a scenario where if we beat Buffalo handily, even that, what if it was because they turned the ball over 4 times and this and that and the other? And I'm thinking, well, isn't that what makes us inferior when we do that?
No, and
I mean, isn't that what makes a bad team? You know what I mean? Well, he's like, that's one game. I get that it's one game, but they have more samples than just one, you know?
I hate to break it to El Capitan, but me and you were both there. But the last game we played at Hard Rock against Buffalo, Josh Allen
Right, right. You know, it's the same argument I make about the fumble and the toe tap. Well, Jacksonville, or who was it that toe tapped on us? The Patriots. They couldn't get it done within the field of play. They're not good enough to. Everything we did within the field of play. It's not my fault they can't do it within the field of play. That makes us better than them. Same with the fumble. ETN didn't roll into the end zone and score. What people call luck with a fumble, I call effort. The offense don't want to do it. The defense has to, and they did. Why are we calling that luck?
Exactly. He right place, right time. He saw the opportunity and he took it, and he punched the ball out.
Suffering from a broken hand right now, which tells you what? When two of our other defensive guys have broken hands, obviously we've been practicing that. So how can you call that luck?
Yeah,
I'm not saying the broken hands mean anything. I'm saying it's evidence of extra practice on it.
Yeah, when TD, I remember TD saying when he was in training camp when Brian Flores was around. Of course, that was Javon Holland's rookie year. They were specifically doing punch out drills.
Well, again, we pointed out last season, Fangio, every top defense that he was a part of in his career led the league in turnovers. At least top 5. Mostly top 3. A lot of them top 1 in turnovers. Go look. I mean, I know you don't need to, but I'm just saying, like, you know, it's there. So obviously we have somebody has instilled some kind of culture of punching the football out. A lot of times I see missed tackles because of us trying to punch the football out. That ain't a good thing either. But don't tell me it was luck. And even if you do tell me it's luck, I'll tell you, good teams put themselves in position to have good luck. That's a known. Anyway, it is what it is. Tyreek said today on Twitter that he prefers, what did he say? He prefers his Pro-Am. Or he prefers Pro-Am or something. I think he was referring to the fact that we're kind of built on speed and all that, you know what I mean? So I said, good, start Pro-Amming. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm good with it too. Tyreek, just start Pro-Amming then. Oh, we got a new I was gonna roast McDaniel on his Monday presser, but we got a new one just in, Shake. We got today's in already, which means it's gonna be fresh. I haven't heard any of it yet. It's gonna be live reaction.
So anybody, I hope you're not driving machinery or operating any heavy machinery or driving your cars while we listen to this.
It's already uploaded, so I will be able to put it in 1.25 speed. But I figured we'd do a little Mike McDaniel apologisting today. No, we're not doing no apologisting. Sorry. we gonna have some fun. Y'all ready to have some fun with this presser here? If you are, you got to hit the like button because I ain't doing it till you hit the like button. We're at 50. We need 50 more. Otherwise, Cap is gonna fire me. The poll is at 109 votes. Appreciate y'all voting. That means 59 of you did not pay your entry fee for the poll by hitting the like button. Would beating Buffalo make you positive on the rest of the season? Yes or no? Currently, the yeses are at 28%. 52% say no, and 20% say I've been out since Buffalo in week 2. That's fair too.
For once, I didn't hit the smart answer.
Oh, you didn't.
Yes.
You didn't hit the smart ass answer today. All right.
I put yes.
Well, I appreciate you not hitting the smart ass answer today, Jake. But let's see here. Coach McBee. Let's see how many minutes of
and by the way, billionaires always do win.
Look at this. 2 minutes and 2 seconds of lead time for this thing. God, man, they could have cut that whole 2 minutes out.
By the way, the Red, White, and Bills video dropped of me, Sean, and Crypto. Y'all can watch it at your own leisure.
There we go. 1 1/4 speed. Let me know if there's any audio problems. Looks like I got volume all up. We're going with this.
That's it. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live.
Yeah.
Looks like it was a hot day today.
Important day to the organization.
It's gorgeous out.
So to hit on the 3 guys, I was going to ask you, Craycraft and Lynn will be designated to return this week, and if Steelers could be able to practice with any sort of eye covering, face mask, anything like that. So Craycraft wins Steeler.
We're just beyond even hiding it anymore. Remember that when it used to be a thing? So Rivers window will open today.
Awesome.
Isaiah is doing well. Has had very positive weeks, or things have been trending well, but I don't know that timetable yet. And then
bro, did he practice speaking even slower because he knows I'm putting it on 1 1/4? Is that just me?
Damn, I thought that was. I swear to God, I thought that was his normal voice.
That's what I'm saying. I think he has slowed down even more because he knows I put it on 1 1/4. He has to be watching the show, bro. I mean, anyway, good afternoon, Mike. I appreciate you chilling with us today. I won't be too harsh on you, but yes, I will.
Sealer is he's one of several. I won't know at all until closer to the game.
All right, so those of you couldn't hear, River Craycraft's practice window is open now. We might get him back, and he don't know about Sealer, and Isaiah Wynn's doing okay, but no answer on it.
And that's just based upon you'd have to project, and he's doing well, and we know him as a player and a person. He desperately wants to play in this game, so he will do everything he can too. And if he can't, it's because he's unable to. No surgery.
Thank you.
Mike, as you progress toward this game, is it productive for you to remind the players of the recent history and performance and record against Buffalo, or is it more productive to just focus on this game as a one-game entity?
Yeah, I think it's always interesting how football is very similar to life, and so circumstances kind of
no, football is exactly like life, not just similar.
Direct your tonality, what you focus on, and right now, I think our main focus is absolutely positively how we play football, and how we do things to win games, not things to lose games. So yeah, I mean, everybody, it's a division road game against an opponent that is everyone in our division's chasing, and that's everybody knows that. But more than anything, the opponent doesn't matter. Is what the perspective that you learn when you're not doing the things to beat NFL teams, let alone the Buffalo Bills. They thrive on other people's mistakes. They're literally challenging you to do right longer and take advantage of groups of players that are unable to execute down and down out. So you and they do a masterful job of putting it on the other team to earn the win.
Yeah, that's what they're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do to them.
I think that that's right along the mode of what we're just trying to do in general. So I don't mind having the toughest test or one of the toughest tests, or however difficult the scenario is, or how many years, or how long, or how many times we've lost to them. Like we, for the sake of our jobs or responsibilities to each other, the fans that root for us, the wonderful media that works with us day in and day out. Like we have to.
So the shields and the media.
So like, I think it's important to let the team know that the environment that you're going to get into, so you have the entire work week to prepare for it. I think it's important to know that when we're on that field, there's going to be a very confident stadium of people, and that what are you going to do with it? So I think a major focus on our football, understanding that this everything that we're really focusing on, that's what feeds this team. So
holy Jesus, I don't know what to decipher there, Shake. I mean, the guy literally said nothing except they have a raucous crowd.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they play really well, and they make you play really well for 60 minutes. Yeah, we know that. What are you going to do about it? Have you told the men that that's what they need to do? Mike McDaniel, could you explain or could you tell us whether it's easier to purposely lose against a team like Buffalo, or is it easier to purposely lose against a team like Arizona? That's the question that needs to be asked.
I think focusing on us is more than enough for sure.
Like how often does the big picture enter your mind with you guys sitting at 2-5, knowing that there's very little margin for error to get to where you guys want to get to?
I think one thing that one thing that is something that I value is paying attention to experience and history, and there's so many times in seasons, flip the record, 5-2 or 2-5. I've been a part of all sorts of different seasons. So what I try to communicate to the players as best I can is the idea of projecting records based upon yours is a false trial. So many things can happen, and the point is that, all right, you fully tool yourself to go try to be the best team that Sunday in that stadium, and then you because anything beyond that is an opportunity cost that you leave yourself less and less room for error. So I don't.
Man, he's for all of you that don't understand what the gobbledygook he just spit out. He said everything I've been saying all day. Just so you don't understand what he said, just go back and watch what I've said the whole day. There's no sense in doing anything but working towards defeating what's on your plate and worrying about whether you can come back from a 2-5 record and all that stuff matters not if you don't take care of what's in front of your plate. And he believes, obviously, that we can, at least it's worth it to try to deal with what's on your plate?
I don't do much forecasting in that way, just because I've been on an Atlanta team that was 5-2 that ended up 8-8. I've been on a 3-6 team in Washington in 2012 that won the division. I've been on a 3-5 team in 2021 that went to the NFC Championship game. So like it's about how do you handle the noise, and there's always noise, and it's either positive or negative. You're either really good or you suck, and I think that is something that you don't run from, because it's never void in your experience.
Quote of the day right there. You're either really good or you suck. You're not going to know till Sunday at 1 o'clock,
And by the way, I think what he's trying to say, like like Pink Floyd said, how can you have any pudding if you can't finish your meat?
Right. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat?
Yeah, that's pretty much what he's saying, right?
It's a billion-dollar industry that a lot of people care about. That there's careers that are directly in it, and there's careers covering it. So like, what do you expect? You have to. Bottom line is you have to do your job and continue to find ways to learn how to do it better.
You have to what?
And the teams that figure out how to collectively get better in the noise every single year, it's the same pattern. They're the teams that win at the end of the season. So like, whatever it is, I get, I get the natural expression of, okay, what does this mean? And okay, this team, we can win this. All of that is like, you are, whatever your record is, and you allow your record to either work for or against you. So you ride the momentum when you win, and continue to double down on the details that got you the win, or you find solutions in the loss, and you don't point fingers, you point thumb. So for me, it's a naturally, it's quite natural for the environment to be as it is within the team and outside in terms of like disappointment. But what do you do with that? That's my job as a leader. And people don't hire people for the high fives and the parades and stuff. This is the meat and potatoes of what my job is. So
wow, I wonder where he got that from, Shake. I wonder if he was parroting what he was just told. You know what I mean? Let's play that little part again.
And naturally, it's quite natural for the environment to be as it is within the team and outside in terms of like disappointment. But what do you do with that? That's my job as a leader. And people don't hire people for the high fives and the parades and stuff.
People don't hire people for the high fives and the parades. That's either some serious self-reflection, or he got that from somebody. Now, Shake, who would you think that he got that from?
Probably Stephen Ross.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Shake. That's why I love you, Shake, because you follow along so well, bro. You must have been a really good student in high school, man. Yeah, you're following.
No, but yeah.
You're totally getting it, man. You're becoming a coach whisperer.
This is the meat and potatoes of what my job is. So trying to communicate that on a daily basis and find ways to get guys collectively to play their best football, and finding individuals that have the most growth available to their game, and continuing to progress, because that's what's important to me for the reasons of my entire football career, and understanding the patterns that occur every single year with teams that start hot or teams that start slow.
Okay, but did you notice the pattern of teams that throw the ball on 2nd and 12 to the sideline when they're trying to burn out the clock? Did you notice that pattern at all?
It's all a journey to build to when it's win, or this is your last game, or win and you have 17 games and finality. You're always fighting that, and that's what we're in the thick of right now.
You lean on and trust Anthony Weaver and the defensive staff. I'm curious, how much input do you want to have in putting on the cap of the Bills offense, and trying to have some input on some possible way to help slow down Josh Allen?
I typically, the plays that work are the ones that I help with. No, I think you have to be, there's a certain amount of humility that is very important to do your job well in this position, in terms of, all right, so there's so much is on the front end of who you entrust, who you choose to be your teammate and your teammates, and et cetera, et cetera. And then, not being result based and really combing the details and asking the questions of whys and whats. But like, I'm also not going to pretend to, know the tendency of the Buffalo Bills offense in second 2 to 4. Like if I do know that, I'm not calling the game. So why do I know that? I think there's certain things that you can always definitely help with. And if you pair yourself with the right people, that value added can be realized. And I think that's what our defensive staff does a great job of hearing thoughts and opinions. But I'm very careful not to strictly be result based because results go in ebbs and flows. But how and why you do things as your program builds and you try to put players in position to succeed, that's what matters most. So and then
that had nothing to do with what the guy asked him. None of that had anything to do with what the guy asked him. The guy asked him, basically, are you working with your defense to find out ways? Are you working with the defense as your offensive mind to help them find ways to stop Josh Allen? I don't know what that answer had to do with any of that.
Being the head coach, you can you have the most favorable ability to emphasize, to get a return on emphasis. So for me, I look at it like if I have the loudest voice at the end of the day where people have to respond to things that I say, I better say the right stuff. So I better focus on the right stuff and try to add value that way, because I bear the burden of the responsibility for all results.
Belichick in his new role as one of us, sort of, he was asked about the Bills defense once, and he put up a roulette wheel and spun it, and it had like 8 different defenses they could play, and he said this is how it seems they pick what they're going to play. It's just a random, and it really presents problems for the offense. I'm just curious whether what have you seen in your years here that the Bills defense has done? They've had some success.
No, I think it's actually, for me, it's all in the eye of the beholder, but it seems to me that they have a very strong reasoning for their motivations of play calls and the defenses that they run. I do think they know when to take a chance and when it's best served to play the percentages and make offenses earn it. So it can, I think, from the, when I first played against the Bills, it definitely seemed more random. But as I've, you go against them twice a year, and a system based on fundamentals and technique that they absolutely are as coordinated of a unit as there is in the NFL. To me, their principles and how they defend gaps while holding pass responsibilities, and they have a bunch of different calls that establish very similar things, and when they think that you're comfortable, they get a little more aggressive, or there's areas of the field that there's there's a lot of the amount of coverages that they play is determined by the opponent. They've done a really good job. I'm not sure the percentages relative to other teams, but we see a lot of stuff that other teams don't see. And to me, that means that's because it's calculated. And when you are winning more than you lose over a long period of time, I think that those calculations are pretty fair and good. So
he's basically saying the Dunning-Kruger slope applies here. You lose to a team enough, you're going to finally find ways to beat them. It's just a matter of whether you implement those things or not. So, like the Dunning-Kruger slope, he's saying that he's getting smarter and wiser as they keep slapping him down and telling him he's wrong. It's only a matter of time before it clicks and he figures a way out.
I have a lot of respect for the Buffalo Bills football team and Sean McDermott and the job that Bobby Babbage has done because they've earned my respect through. You can tell they work. So that they force a football team to go earn wins, not be gifted them, and that's something that I think isn't necessarily a bad thing for our football team, and I see a lot of deliberate, intentional illusion of complexity, I think.
Where do you stand in your assessment of the third wide receiver role. A lot of attention was placed on that going into the season, and yet Odell has had to deal with what he's had to deal with. And now River is coming back. How do those two guys fit into the picture, and where do you go from here trying to get production out of that role?
No, I think you challenge. I think you identify ways that things can be where contribution can come from, and you're very clear with how the third wide receiver can add value, and you let players be players, and we always have reason for everything that we do.
Well, can we let Jalen Wright be a player? I mean, I respect you got to let players be players, but can we let Jalen Wright be a player?
Who is on the field and who's not, right, wrong, or different. And, I think Odell had, coming back from, the off season and the procedure, and then having one game under his belt with Tua, he absolutely had a positive. It was a step in the right direction. That doesn't show up in a box score. Sometimes, the opposing defensive coordinator can just randomly call a certain coverage that, he's number one and runs a good route, and there's a floating defender in his vicinity that forces Tua to progress. I thought he attacked his responsibilities the best that he had since he's been here, and I thought it was a step in the right direction. And with competition, that's the supreme form of getting the most out of each individual player. We have, and I'm excited about the whole room really in terms of their growth. In the midst of box scores and stat lines and losses and records, fact tells me that that room has developed over the last 3 weeks.
Bullshit, McDaniel. For those that you're lost, the question was whether the return of River Craycraft and the like would put pressure on Odell, basically. And he basically is like, he likes the competition. No, the only thing going to pressure Odell is throwing him the football. The only thing going to relieve him is pressure in whatever he's got in his feels over is throwing him the football. Choosing him for a fade route instead of your shortest wide receiver on the team. That kind of stuff, McDaniel,
And that's just based upon watching the film. And so that for everyone involved is a good thing. There was it was probably the best game that the whole group of receivers had in a long time, maybe ever, in terms of making plays without the ball. I think that the development of the offensive line allows for you to have more run opportunities that are productive, but you don't average 6 a carry without receivers blocking. And I think learning as so we have really, really good players on this team, and two of the best in the NFL in that room, and they're learning how to make plays without the ball because you get above and beyond attention. And I say this all the time, but like equate it to basketball. Okay, if you have a double team,
they learn how to make plays without getting the ball. Yeah, because we don't have a quarterback that'll throw him the ball.
All right, the way to stop getting doubled is not splitting the double. The way to stop getting doubled is getting an assist. So, there's with the way that the presentation of defenses are, if you're trying to play football, have the time of possession, not turn the ball over and score points, you have to take advantage of what the defense is giving you. And this past game that had, I think Buda Baker's one of the better safeties in the league, and he starts from 15 yards deep and goes downhill and sprints, and a lot of receivers turn it down and our guys didn't. So that development, the room is creating its own standard of play, and in that I see more contribution from. I see the ball coming to our 2-star guys more because of their effort in other phases of the game, and then I see more contribution. That I think that a lot of guys would have. That's the box score would have looked a little different. If the particular game, offense had more than 8 possessions, but both offenses were staying on the field a good amount, and you only have those opportunities that you're given. So, excuse me. So, I would be very hesitant to look at the receiver room right now and say that that is the forecast for the rest of the year.
Dude's inhaling
trying to
his
get us
own
right.
words.
Doing a great job doing it. Sorry.
You know, maybe if you didn't spit out so much bull crap, you wouldn't be like coughing so much.
Where's the level of concern regarding the knee injury?
The overall for the season, not really concerned. It's not major, but for this game, he's deep working to try to make himself available. So he won't practice today, but that will be a process throughout the whole week, and one that he's been living here trying to get right to be available for this game.
Yeah, I think most of you agree. I can see it already. I mean, the guy choking on his own bullshit. Wow. I mean, I guess, McDaniel, I don't know. I don't know how the guy's doing other things. Yeah, a little bit, Aqua. I don't know how the guy is doing other things to help get other guys open matters when those other guys aren't being targeted, bro. Like, I don't know what else to say. It don't matter what you do if the quarterback ain't willing to take advantage of the options. You might as well scheme those guys back into the play some other way. You know, as a blocker or something. I mean, it just seems so drawn out, like anything but just do your dang job, man. You know, no, let's go through this whole process of, learning how to play for each other, and you'll get the ball more. You ain't getting the ball more until Tua starts throwing it to you more. Period. Stop with all the other nonsense. You're not getting the ball more until Tua throws it to more people and starts extending beyond that walled garden that he continues to play in. And that's all I got to say for today. Everybody hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you're going to TFTGnetwork.com. Bookmark it and make it your homepage. I really appreciate every one of you joining me today for coffee and a cup of color. I will be on tonight with Miss Fins at 8 o'clock for League-Wide Wednesday. I did all right. Mediocre week 9 and 7. It didn't kill me, but it also didn't help me at all. You know, but I'll keep chugging along. I'll keep, trying to pick the right games, maybe string together another couple more 11, 12 win weeks, and I can get back in that thing. But, I took a big chance early on in the season with some underdogs, and it didn't work out. But make sure you're catching me there. Make sure you catch Shake Money right here on the Fins tailgate at around 7 or 7:30 or so for the Smoke Lounge. He's going to roast the other guy's presser. Bills and their quarterback. So make sure you're checking that out. That's always fun. And I mean, look, I don't know what to say about the Bills because it seems like a lot of people don't care if we beat them anyway. But that being said, need more likes at 58. We got to get more likes, people. We got to do better at the likes going forward. Tomorrow, I expect 100 likes. 127 of you have voted. Would beating Buffalo make you positive on the rest of the season? Results are pretty much in at 29% saying yes, which did grow a little bit. So a couple of you were convinced by my petition here. Looks like 52% of you say no. 19% say I was out in week 2. So I'm going to shut down that poll. Thank you to the 127 or so that voted. There's your end results. Make sure you're donating to the channel, hitting the like button, all that good stuff. It helps us grow. It helps us continue to do this. That's right, Jose. Every like for color gets to another yard of offense. this week. So we got all week to get the likes up. I'll tally them up at the end of the week and see how many yards passing to is going to get. So make sure you're doing that on the way out. I appreciate y'all once again. I mean, don't let people demoralize you. If you want to win, keep cheering. Keep going. Season ain't over yet. And everybody have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. Fins up.